सबैजनालाई फ्री फायर नेपाल च्याम्पियनशिपमा जति पनि हाम्रो नेपाली प्रो टिमहरू क्वालिफाई हुनुभएको छ उहाँहरू प्रतिस्पर्धा गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ फर द फर्स्ट टाइम इन अल्पान। आइ एम सो एक्साइटेड। आई होप हजुरहरू पनि एक्साइटेड हुनुहुन्छ। यदि हजुरहरू पनि आफ्नो टिमलाई सपोर्ट गर्न चाहनुहुन्छ अथवा आफ्नो फेभरेट प्लेयरलाई सपोर्ट गर्न चाहनुहुन्छ भने लाइभ जोइन गर्न नभुल्नुहोला। लाइभ चाहिँ हाम्रो फ्री फायर नेपाल अफिसियल युट्युब च्यानलमा हुनेछ 6 PM फ्राइडे टु सन्डे। थ्याङ्क यू, धन्यवाद।
हेलो एन्ड नमस्ते सर्भाइभर्स, हजुरहरू सबैलाई फ्री फायर नेपाल च्याम्पियनशिप 2022 मा स्वागत छ। यो हाम्रो पहिलो ठुलो पाइला नेपाल इस्पोर्ट्सको तर्फ रहेको छ। अब हामी कुरा गर्नेछौँ फ्री फायर नेपाल च्याम्पियनशिप 2022 को फर्म्याट तर्फ। यो टुर्नामेन्ट 4 चरणमा विभाजित गराइएको छ जुन 2 महिनासम्म हुनेछ। ओपन क्वालिफायर्स, लिग स्टेज, प्ले-इन्स, ग्रान्ड फाइनल्स। ओपन क्वालिफायर्स 4 वटा राउन्डमा विभाजित गराइएको छ। पहिलो राउन्डमा टिमहरू 12 ग्रुप्समा विभाजित गरिएको छ। हरेक ग्रुपलाई एउटा म्याच मात्रै खेलाइनेछ र हरेक ग्रुपको सबैभन्दा धेरै पोइन्ट्स लिएर आउने एउटा टिम मात्रै अर्को राउन्ड जानेछ। दोस्रो राउन्डमा पहिलो राउन्डमा जस्तै फर्म्याट हुनेछ, तर यसपालि भने 2 वटा म्याच खेलाइनेछ जसबाट टप 2 टिम्स जसले धेरै पोइन्ट्स लिएर आउने टिम्सहरू अर्को राउन्डमा जानेछ। तेस्रो राउन्डमा टिम्सहरूलाई 2 वटा ग्रुपमा विभाजित गरिनेछ। यसमा भने हरेक टिम्सहरूले 6 वटा म्याचेस खेल्नेछ। टप 6 टिम्सहरू जसले धेरै पोइन्ट्स लिएर आएको टिम्सहरू ओपन क्वालिफायर्सको अन्तिम राउन्डतर्फ जानेछ। चौथो राउन्डमा 12 टिम्सहरू एकअर्कामा युद्ध गर्नेछ जहाँ 6 वटा म्याच खेलाइनेछ र त्यसबाट थाहा हुनेछ कि कुन टिमले लिग स्टेजमा कुन ठाउँ लिनेछ भनेर। ओपन क्वालिफायर्सबाट आएको 12 टिम्सहरू जसले अब लिग स्टेजमा फ्री फायर नेपाल इन्भिटेसनल 2022 को टप 6 टिम्सहरूसँग भिड्नेछ र यो टिम्सहरूलाई 3 वटा ग्रुप्समा उहाँहरूको र्याङ्किङ अनुसारले विभाजित गराइनेछ। यो 3 ग्रुप्समा विभाजित गराइएको टिम्सहरू 2 हप्ताभित्र जहाँ 6 दिनको लागि एकअर्कामा भिड्नेछ। कुल मिलाएर 6 टिम्सहरू मात्रै ग्रान्ड फाइनल्सलाई जानेछ। बाँकी रहेको 12 टिम्सहरू प्लेइन्सको तर्फ लाग्नेछ। यी 12 टिम्सहरूले 8 म्याचेस खेल्नेछन्। प्लेइन्सबाट टप 6 टिम्स ग्रान्ड फाइनल्सको लागि जानेछ। ग्रान्ड फाइनल्समा फ्री फायर नेपाल च्याम्पियनशिपको विजेता बन्न र साथसाथै आफ्नो रिजनको उत्कृष्ट बन्नको लागि लिग स्टेज र प्लेइन्सबाट टप 12 टिम्सहरू संयुक्त गरी एकअर्कामा भिड्नेछ।
सबैजनालाई फ्री फायर नेपाल च्याम्पियनशिपमा जति पनि हाम्रो नेपाली प्रो टिमहरू क्वालिफाई हुनुभएको छ उहाँहरू प्रतिस्पर्धा गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ फर द फर्स्ट टाइम इन अल्पान। आइ एम सो एक्साइटेड। आई होप हजुरहरू पनि एक्साइटेड हुनुहुन्छ। यदि हजुरहरू प्लेयरहरू पनि आफ्नो टिमलाई सपोर्ट गर्न चाहनुहुन्छ अथवा आफ्नो फेभरेट प्लेयरलाई सपोर्ट गर्न चाहनुहुन्छ भने लाइभ जोइन गर्न नभुल्नुहोला। लाइभ चाहिँ हाम्रो फ्री फायर नेपाल अफिसियल युट्युब च्यानलमा हुनेछ 6 PM फ्राइडे टु सन्डे। थ्याङ्क यू, धन्यवाद।
हेलो एन्ड नमस्ते सर्भाइभर्स, हजुरहरू सबैलाई फ्री फायर नेपाल च्याम्पियनसिप 2022 मा स्वागत छ। यो हाम्रो पहिलो ठुलो पाइला नेपाल स्पोर्ट्सको तर्फ रहेको छ। अब हामी कुरा गर्नेछौँ फ्री फायर नेपाल च्याम्पियनसिप 2022 को फर्म्याट तर्फ। यो टुर्नामेन्ट 4 चरणमा विभाजित गराइएको छ, जुन 2 महिनासम्म हुनेछ। ओपन क्वालिफायर्स, लिग स्टेज, प्ले-इन्स, ग्रान्ड फाइनल्स। ओपन क्वालिफायर्स 4 वटा राउन्डमा विभाजित गराइएको छ। पहिलो राउन्डमा टिमहरू 12 ग्रुप्समा विभाजित गरिएको छ। हरेक ग्रुपलाई एउटा म्याच मात्रै खेलाइनेछ र हरेक ग्रुपको सबैभन्दा धेरै पोइन्ट्स लिएर आउने एउटा टिम मात्रै अर्को राउन्ड जानेछ। दोस्रो राउन्डमा पहिलो राउन्डमा जस्तै फर्म्याट हुनेछ, तर यसपालि भने 2 वटा म्याच खेलाइनेछ, जसबाट टप 2 टिम्स जसले धेरै पोइन्ट्स लिएर आउने टिम्सहरू अर्को राउन्डमा जानेछ। तेस्रो राउन्डमा टिम्सहरूलाई 2 वटा ग्रुपमा विभाजित गरिनेछ। यसमा भने हरेक टिम्सहरूले 6 वटा म्याचेस खेल्नेछ। टप 6 टिम्सहरू जसले धेरै पोइन्ट्स लिएर आएको टिम्सहरू ओपन क्वालिफायर्सको अन्तिम राउन्डतर्फ जानेछ। चौथो राउन्डमा 12 टिम्सहरू एकअर्कामा युद्ध गर्नेछ, जहाँ 6 वटा म्याच खेलाइनेछ र त्यसबाट थाहा हुनेछ कि कुन टिमले लिग स्टेजमा कुन ठाउँ लिनेछ भनेर। ओपन क्वालिफायर्सबाट आएको 12 टिम्सहरू जसले अब लिग स्टेजमा फ्री फायर नेपाल इन्भिटेसनल 2022
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome. We warmly welcome you to Free Fire Nepal Championship 2022, the first ever flagship tournament for Nepal, where history is still in the making. Time to rise and shine, and that is why we have the hashtag as well, Time to Shine. I am Star Tanya. Alongside me, it is Oji. So, Oji, how are you feeling today?
Well, I'm feeling great, Tanya. Coming back after a while into this Free Fire madness, it's going to be amazing. And the fact that we're not only going to get to see familiar faces, the ones that we've already gotten to see from the Nepal Invitational a couple of weeks ago, alongside a lot of new faces through that open qualifier system, it's going to be amazing to see what new action Nepal has to offer to us on stage today.
Absolutely, the journey has not been too long, yet not too short, because 6 teams have been qualified through the closed qualifiers of the winners of Free Fire in Nepal Invitational. 6 teams moving ahead towards Nepal Championship, and other 12 teams. So the massive names are coming in through the open qualifiers. So talking about new names, new faces, well, this is new tournament itself. So definitely we are going to witness a lot of newness into the entire tournament. But talking about Free Fire Winter Invitational, once again, it was Abhishek Whitey taking away the title. So let's see if they are able to continue it, retain it, because now we have them as V Bros.
Yeah, we have them as Bros. We have a new map. We have a lot of new things that's in store for you guys. So whoever you are, if you are a fan of Free Fire, if you have friends who love watching Free Fire, today is a day you're not going to miss. Today is a day you are going to remember, because this is the first time in any tournament, ladies and gentlemen, that we're going to get a chance to get a taste of what that new map is like. We've seen that 3-map rotation for such a long time that it feels so standard now, right? Things are slowly going to change, Tanya. Not only for us as casters or as you as viewers, but also imagine from the player's perspective, right? Now they have a new map in the rotation, and we have 2 rotations as always. It's going to be 8 games rather than the conventional 6. So we talked about that open qualifier where newer teams were allowed to participate. So that happened through 9 to the 15th of June, and now we approach the league stages, ladies and gentlemen, where we already have the top 6 teams from the Free Fire Nepal Invitational, and we get the other 12 teams through that open qualifier, which then we're going to make a good assessment who heads directly to the grand finals based on their placement, and then who goes through that grueling playoff phase. So that's something that I like, that state, that playoffs and the chance to get revenge at the grand finals. There's a lot of nice stuff that we're left to see now.
And talking about grand finals, well, that is going to be very interesting as well, because playoffs will be the exact spot where we are going to witness which 6 teams are going to promote towards grand finals. Because talking about other three teams, we do have league stages. Each group is going to battle against each other for consecutive 2 days, and then after that, those top 2 teams from respective groups are going to move ahead towards grand finals. The dust will not settle yet, because then the real battle begins. Playoffs are way more brutal, way more crucial.
Yeah.
But what are they fighting for? It is going to be a million. They're fighting for the million Nepal rupees.
Yeah, that's the combined prize pool, with the champion taking half the bag home. So, yeah, a big incentive to come first place. And of course, you have it consecutively drop off, with the first runners-up taking 2 lakh Nepali rupees, second runner-up taking 1 lakh, and respectively down to the 12th place bagging 10 as well. If you are feeling a little fresh, that's because it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be day 1 of the league stage. We have the schedule on our screen right now, so this is for you to mark on your calendar to not miss any of the Free Fire action that's coming your way. The weekends, we've got you covered, and the grand finals on the 17th is something that you have to look out for. The point system is not going to be changed a tad bit whatsoever. You still have 12 points awarded to the team that gets the Booyah second place, with 9 third, consecutively reducing one after the other until you hit 11. So there is so much that has changed ever since we've gotten to witness that respawn system, Tanya. The teams having the nature to play so much more blood hungry, and that means that we're gonna get to see so much more opportunities for teams to get more kill points. Previously, it used to be a lot of value, right, in terms of the placements. Now that story has changed, and we might get to see that morph into newer strategies in today's stream.
Well, sure, the new strategies will be witnessed, but what else? Which two groups are going to fight? That is also right in front of our screen. We have Group A, Vibros, Kukri Esports, Chandra Surya, Sri Pach, Anand Lama Esports, and Beg for Mercy. They are going to fight in from Group A, and let's see how are they going to perform. Because talking about Vibros, we very well know Gregor is going to participate from that team, and he has been a wonderful performers in Free Fire Nepal Invitational. Now talking about Group B, we have Moonlight, we have High Voltage, Lone Wolves, Netstars Esports, Sanura Gaming Esports, Team Reunite. So overall, we do have 4 new names alongside 2 repetitive names, which is Moonlight, who have proven their worth of being the Moon Knights. And talking about High Voltage, well, they have renamed themselves again, but still the roster sticks say almost similar. Talking about Group C here, we have Train to Kill and BitX Esports. They are the repetitive names, but for the new teams, we have Strangers, Zuki Esports, the Battalions, and Team Pirates. Oji, if I had to choose one team who might perform the best amongst all the newcomers, have to be Zuki Esports, because they have been doing very good in their own circuit of Nepal tournaments of their own region. Well, talking about the game schedules now.
And not to mention T2K as well, right? A reputation that they've made over the last year. So another team that at least I'm personally going to be looking out for. We did mention the new map. So ladies and gentlemen, here it is on your screen. Map 4 Alpine will be on display. It's a map that you've been having the liberty to check out, Tanya. You've mentioned that it has a variety of terrain and a lot of beautiful spots. So I'm looking forward to what kind of beautiful action that we're gonna get to witness, because 8 games in a row. Now that is gonna be a lot for some of these players. We have a decent bit of older names, but we also have newer names. Now let's see if they're able to weather this kind of a storm. It's something unlike we've ever seen before.
Absolutely, and also the play set that we have is also changed. In previous days, all we had was Bermuda, Purgatory, followed by Kalahari. Now, Kalahari was always spotted as the game changer. Now, that is not going to happen now. It is going to be Alpine, the deciding factor. It is a new map, and as you talk about, we have got snow there, we have got autumn weather there, we have got so much. I would want to see who goes to Militia, which is one of my personal favorite drops to go, and and also consists of biggest amount of land. So we can expect some drop landings happening, but that is going to happen on the 4th map for the day. But talking about Bermuda, few teams have already nailed it by already announcing that they are going to land in this location, that location. New teams do have that intel, do have that information about where these renowned teams are going to get, but it is going to be renowned teams. They don't know where they are going to struggle with the drop clash and which team is going to fall where.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen on so many of these tournaments that sometimes it's the bigger names that have problem warming up on the initial few maps that they do play, right? Sometimes we see it for the entire first few segments that they have in their league performance, and it's something that I'm honestly expecting. With so many new names, I'm expecting to see a couple of rising stars up higher on that scoreboard. Of course, when you come in with that kind of a background, with you being a dark horse, there's very little prediction and prep work that the top teams can do against you. You're going to be the ones with the element of surprise up your sleeve. I do love these jerseys though. They look dope, don't they?
Definitely, they do look super amazing with that symbol of Free Fire Nepal Championship, and the history is in the making. Everybody want to own this title. And talking about the title, we already had it in the screen, ladies and gentlemen. We're jumping into the first map for the day, league stages, week 1, day 1, game 1. Good luck to all 12 teams participating for the day. Flight path almost bisecting the map into half, except Southern Island. Sentosa will be left alone, and nobody is willing to jump there. Instead, Rimnam village will have a lot of population.
Yeah, I think NES might end up taking the ropeway into Sentosa, and they should have Sentosa uncontested. Although we will see maybe a lot of action towards Clocktower. That's something I thoroughly missed, you know. Having the liberty of 6 teams absolutely go at it at one point of interest, with the fight being on multiple levels. It's one of the few POIs that allows that kind of action. Although we're not going to get any further away from action. Ramnam Village is where we might get to see that early duke. It's Zion in that compound, who's trying to survive here, who's very well removed from his comrades. This is a Hail Mary play that Xeon's trying to go for, and they've not spotted him. Okay. Okay, he's just fooling around here. Wow, the fact that he managed to make it out is mind-boggling. They finally spotted him, thank you. Now the chase is on. He's trying to make a run away from the hills for his dear life, but he's being hunted down viciously. The chrono drop, ooh, damn, that reverse card was so quick. The fact that he's able to get the drop, now the tables turn, and look at that from the back lines. Tapa's making an appearance as well. Soon, Liv is gonna have a hard time surviving.
Well, he's not even confirming. He is using him as a bait for the players to push in to revive his teammate on the course. The first blood will be drawn by Sanura Gaming Esports against Lone Wolves. Well, Thapa as the one who will also confirm one other frag. The circle is already created. They are on the edge. Chrono ability will still play a massive action here. They are not switching that. And Thapa going for the frag once again. Delivered a little bit of damage, but certainly the damage was not sufficient enough to get the knock once again. Rimnam Village will be the first place to spot the casualty. That was the last thing was coming in my mind, but that is what we were expecting. Some new spots, some new fights, some new location, and I do believe that is going to be one interesting place. And as soon as I say that, we're heading for Pochinok. Two teams already fighting against each other. Team Reunite. Well, a lot of damage dealt to Raza as well as Tope.
Yeah, you talked about new locations, new fights, one of the oldest places to take a duke. For now, nobody's gotten that significant edge walking into this fight. TRU, you can see that they're trying to position themselves kind of box B4M into that compound with all angles covered. It leaves them a little isolated though. The possibility of them not being able to trade out these frags and the chrono perfectly deployed, although he makes his way through the wrong window and that causes him to get down on his feet. The trades are even. It allows TRU to fight this on an equal pegging as they are divided in terms of their approach. And they're trying to rendezvous here, trying to make this numbers game work alongside that crunch. The hold from inside the compound though is brutal, and TRU getting ripped apart yet again. It's all going to be on Raza and Dirt to try and claw their way back. But again, half their roster down the drain. This needs to be a close frag, but it just doesn't work out. That blue ball was so perfectly placed. B4M well managed.
Well, sure, Beg for Mercy made it possible, and now Raza is rushing out of sight. Will he be allowed is going to be the question here. Raza with only mag 7. 4 players trying to cover him from all different directions. Just a shack to cover him. He's for sure Wukong initiated, and Raza will go with the jump and shoot. Is going to go for the Uno reverse, but how long will he be able to do that? Not any longer. The first team to get a shutdown will be Team Reunite. But on the course, did you notice there was a lot of revival happening from Samurai Gaming Esports, Lone Wolves? Both the players have reunited, resurrected on the course here. On the grounds Bullseye, we are witnessing V-Bros. They are combating against Chandra Surya. Well, talking about Chandra Surya, they are not delaying in the confirmation of the frags and revenge frag that also come in from the side of Supreme. 3 versus 3 will be the situation, but revival shall also be very handy because look at the vending machine which is so nearby. If at all they have those golden points to work with.
And like even a team like Chandra Surya, right? They had one of their members play that lurker rat role, who's not committed in that fight, whose sole purpose is to try getting that revive. It's only one team that we've seen an outing on from the server so far. So that means that there's so much more opportunities for teams to get back in terms of numbers, in terms of loot, and fight for another day to come. Although this circle closing in, it has multiple POIs that I'm really looking forward to. Again, Clocktar being one of my favorite. We also might have the chance of it ending towards the center, hopefully between Catalustuba and Plantation. That way it would be open field. And in all honesty, it's not characteristic of Bermuda to betray you in terms of cover with Mother Nature, because that's more purgatory in my opinion. But it will be interesting after seeing this map for such a long time with the tables turning in that fashion. Although, I love these long range fights. But what surprised me more are those close range shotgun duels.
Anam Lama Esports are approaching to Kokri Esports. Let's see who's going to win what, 4 versus 4. And as soon as we've been realizing the players are losing HP, they are starting the stampede of grenades, and they also have one knock. And the confirmation with no delay, confirmation with the grenade as well. Now that was a quick confirmation coming in. 1 frag confirmed. It is 3 versus 4, but the revive zone is just nearby. And that is exactly how the players these days are trying to play. They are trying to hold on to a good compound near the revive zone and just get a good grab there. So once again they will go for the grenades, but this time it was the freeze grenade, which is not going to deliver much of damage, but still little damage is also worth the deal of worth dealing the damage, because when you go for the close call duels, you're going to win them.
Yeah, they're trying to breach the compound here, and they want to finish off what they started off. They get yet another frag. Like you said, there's no delay in confirmation anymore. They want it instantaneously. With the deployment of these vending machines, Tanya, you start to see so many more POIs all of a sudden, right? It makes the map a little more territorial, if you may, at least more so than before, because like you said, there are teams that love to camp these vending machines and just make sure that they hinge their bets on the biggest number. Although that low ground, I'm not sure if Mamba would have expected that coming. That low ground fight actually ends up working in the favor of Beg for Mercy, who are very, very thoroughly gatekeeping NES at the moment. There's only one member from NES all the way towards that higher ground, and he's again going to be playing that conservative game. That's most probably going to be the member who's in charge for revival operations. So for all they're concerned, the rest of NES who are being choked by Beg for Mercy at the moment are just trying to buy time and opportunity. Well, opportunity they have gotten. That nade was a sitter, and they've forced the issue here. Cosmic is trying to support from the low ground, as he's been doing for the past few minutes, and he's managed to make that work. Not always do you get to see a low ground play pan out in that kind of a fashion. He's able to make that work, and Beg for Mercy managed to stabilize, although NES not fully dealt with, which means Unknown still has the opportunity to revive some of his teammates and get his team back on the road.
They need to make sure they do it. So Beg for Mercy with 6 frags already, with no casualty whatsoever. They had a good opportunity to gatekeep. They were able to gatekeep too. But still, Nepstar Esports have got 2 players alive. They have headed for the biggest compound on peak, and they are near to the vending machine that we are clearly seeing. But with double pistol, Pikachu confirms the frag. Now that is a rare case of scenario where we witness pistol taking down a frag in confirmation as well. And here we go with the push coming in from the side of Cosmic. He does have a K9 to work with, but Cosmic has already delivered a lot of damage. Dual will be used. He's going to use up his health kit, move out of sight, and they have lost 1 player, Sarpa. So 6 frags, 3 players. Pikachu still holding on to K9 and a double pistol. On the course, Beg for Mercy are going to beg for mercy for sure. They have lost 2 players already. Dada here hitting in near to the blue zone, or maybe going in for the resurrection point.
Yeah, there is another team rotating in here though. They might make themselves loud and allowed in the perfect window. If they're able to clean up what is the residue of peak at the moment, be a nice couple of frags that they have in their back pocket. A lot of teams are still playing more conservatively than I imagined, Tanya. I assume that with this new meta, there'd be a little more chaos to begin with, but it seems like chaos are at the server. So another team down the drain. 31 players left standing, although that number could very soon change. If I'm not mistaken, 2 teams are on the hinge of their last player trying to commit that revive mission. That we need to see if it's going to be successful for a day later to come. My prediction is almost coming true, Tanya. We might get to see an open circle, and that's if it gravitates a little bit more towards the south from Bhima Shakti. Although this is going to force a lot of teams away from comfort, which means a lot of fights could be forced outside the circle. Well, ALE are trying to take a duel, and they're finishing off what is left. at peak. You can see that the last player from NES is rotating all the way towards the south side of the circle. Although there is a vending machine all the way down there, it's going to be hard for him to commit that revive because there are still people lurking around those waters. ALE though, they are looking to start cleanup duty.
Anam Lama Esports 5 frags, and again all 4 players back on foot, and I like the way how they don't want any opponents landing. They are trying to get those flying frags. For now, Vibros will be the highest fraggers. Kukri Esports, they have lost 1 player with 2 frags. Circle will be inclusive of Bhima Sakti Strip, one of the biggest compounds still under control of Kukri Esports. But how will they control the grenades? They have already utilized the chrono ability. On the course, Sahil has confirmed 1 more frag. 9 teams, 30 players remaining, and all the glue walls will be used to save themselves. Freeze grenades are also popped in, and the damage will be dealt without a doubt. Rohit is revived for a while, and on the course, Supreme will try to catch the players crossing the road. Now there's not only 1 player, it's an entire squad moving in the open, and there's nothing Vibros can do, at least not yet, they can do about it.
Nade. Oh, just chips his HP, although it does look like HV are getting in position. Vibros backs against the wall, circle closing them in. Wait, he actually got that frag on a poison? 1 bullet and he does the job, and now he's able to force the issue here. Supreme has his teammates right behind him, and Rohit, perfect cover duty. This is a nightmare. HV, you'd assume with that man advantage on that rotation, with them being on the better side of it, that it'd be a firm advantage. Although now it's dwindling. Vibros had that opportunity to fight back. Shotgun up close and personal, but he opts to go to the sniper, and he gets yet another one. Rohit though taken down, so they find the means to trade here. HV are slowly but surely able to stabilize, as it's all on a stalker who needs to play a more conservative game. He's trying to survive and circle his way out of that difficult situation. Although finding a vending machine at this point is going to be a little difficult, so he's much better playing off for placements.
Sure, they are also trying to gain those placement points because they are equally important, as close as they can get. For now, Anam Lama Esports, they are near to the vending machine. They might be getting some superior weapons. They might be getting themselves some armors or maybe some health kits to work with. For now, they do have ample amount of health kits, glue walls. Throwables are missing part here, so long range battle will be denied. But look at the kill feed. Anam Lama has got total of 11 frags already. That is indicative they have entered the double-digit clip. 1 more frag is equal to, they are going to get that booyah, points as equal to booyah. But before that, we have got a team fighting and verticality involved, cover involved, and we have these 2 teams fighting. Moonlight Esports, Sudhir Low revived in no time, and he doesn't have any casualty in his name.
Yeah, although Moonlight are kind of in the spotlight, as they're the only team that are trying to take this fight. Moonlight need to keep their players alive. They're in the thick of it. They're in the dead center, so having as many hands on deck as possible is going to be very, very resourceful for them to take these fights later on. They're able to keep HV at bay, but look at the amount of teams that are circling them, Tanya. The moment that a team like ALE might sense weakness in the bootcamp of Moonlight, they might just commit to that W push.
Well, they might commit that. 5 teams remaining now, and 5 more minutes. Anam Lama Esports, they have got the control of the towers, network towers. It is the only cover that they have. So now all they have to rely is upon the glue walls that they possess, and they have ample. 12 glue walls each. Realizing the threat is real, they are outside the circle. They are using glue walls as the cover to create a road and reach against the team Moonlight Esports. Let's see how are they going to fight, because look at Moonlight Esports positioning. They are all far away. If they go for one-on-one dealing, they might lose players here. And Dishkant has already started converting that frags into casualties. 12 points confirmed here.
Sal's been revived. He's back up on his feet. He's trying to heal back up. Needs his teammates to try and buy some cover. Although one of his teammates get covered already. They're losing members here. ALE on their way into the circle. They're facing more stiff resistance than they could have envisioned. This is a very chaotic finish, Tanya. It's in the dead center between the compounds. So a lot of teams like S5, like HV have to come out of their hiding nests, have to come out of their high grounds and positions of advantage to be down in this deep action. ALE, half their roster down in the drain already, and the backstab. Oh, he manages to make it work here, Aman, with that shotgun. Although he's being walled out of the circle. This is chaotic, but S5, I think, still having that advantage of numbers. Moonlight Esports, they've been having the cover from since the get-go. They've been having this compound, and right now it's proving to their detriment.
Rebroadcast never wanted that sort of a spotlight on their name. They have managed to survive until the final circle with 3 players alive, 5 frags against them. We have high voltage. Lure try to kick. Indeed, he has got an entire control over the tower. But how long will he be holding it? Because Sahil is just beneath him, and it is going to be 3 versus 1 versus 1. So for sure, if the numbers win this game, we do have a clear victors, the clear Booyah owners. Rebroadcast. Will it be allowed is going to be the question. Heal battle is also coming to the picture. Anam Lama, Sahil is also trying to go for the same sort of approach, and now Anam Lama are eliminated, and the Booyah will be backed by Rebroadcast here. A good gameplay, not wanting the spotlight, yet winning away the Booyah with 5 frags.
Yeah, S5 were one of the few teams that were in a very, very bad position, but having the numbers on them much inside that circle is what allowed them to be in control. At that point, there was not a single team having more than 2 of their players respectively up. So a beautiful Booyah that we got to witness where positioning wasn't really the key, right? We saw a lot of teams like example Moonlight Esports who were in prime position and real estate, and you saw that blessing turn into a curse in disguise. The way that they got sandwiched from both the inside push and the forces outside was just heartbreaking, and they had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
And as you said, there was nowhere they could have run because the blue zone was also approaching. The players had to make sure either they move out of the tower. As soon as they did start to pick up the pace, they were taken down by the zone. And then there was nothing much that Rebroadcast had to do. They had done their deal. They wanted to make sure they won very softly, very subtly, and they went for that Booyah by surviving 5 frags, Booyah points. But do you think is it enough to take over Anam Lama Esports? Because they are one of the oldest clans for Nepal, and they have used all the tactics required. Starting fight right from the start, grabbing more than 12 frags, surviving until 3. I still do believe that number 1 position on the scorecard will be handed over to Anam Lama Esports itself, because surviving and gaining Booyah is not going to be enough in the terms where resurrection is the key factor where you have to keep the watch on. And Anam Lama was one of the team where they were trying to go for those flying shots, and though they could not confirm those, but they were trying sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think in the context of this game, there were a lot of teams that got a lot of these free kills, if you may, because there's so much chaos throughout the server, although that chaos was kind of sequential, right? It wasn't fights all around, rather progressively every minute we at least got a minimum of 1 fight, which means the kill points would be a little more evenly spread across the board. And like you said, there are a few teams that pop the hell off, so they will have that significant advantage as we head into what should be the replays for game 1. I want to try and understand how that mid game phased out, because up until that circle where it shifted between Bhima, Shakti Strip and Catalystova, if I'm not mistaken, there was a lot of real estate that was taken away from a lot of these teams, so they had to move in, and that caused a lot of fights. So these fights that happened at that minute mark was so, I'd say, deal breaking for a lot of those teams who set up near Clock Tower or towards that west side of that circle.
Talking about Clock Tower, a little bit area of Clock Tower was also a part of the circle for a while, and the players started to move in, and there was not even a single team who had an entire control over the circle. They were playing on the edges, which is safe bet to play, because where once you try to get that center of the circle, you're always the center of attraction, and you not only get attacked by one direction, you get attacked by all different directions. So it was a very casual move which each and every team did try to get, but then circle also had to play along. Circle went into that one single compound about leaving away the watchtowers, and the two teams, one player each, one within the watchtower, one just below it, not wanting to fight, going for the heel battle. But I really had no belief in that heel battle, because I was very sure Circle is going to make the most out of it, and Circle did. And talking about Three Patch, they had the perfect play, their zone prediction. They had the perfect zone prediction. They came in quietly, they survived there quietly, because 5 frags is definitely not massive.
Yeah. We do get to relive map 1. So it started off pretty standard. We expected the early fights to be as intense as it could be, just due to the fact that the meta has changed over the past few months. So this change in meta, at least for the early game, I'm enjoying it a lot, Tanya. Although it does get a little chaotic towards the mid and the late game, the early game never ceases to amaze me anymore. The fact that we got to see so many turnarounds, not only with the shotguns, but we did get to see a couple with the rifles early on. This has been one of the more unpredictable games, where technically one player will have the advantage, but the turnaround so instantaneous that you won't see it coming whatsoever. Regardless, the MVP for the first game in the Nepal Championship, ladies and gentlemen, is Kush. And S5, like I said, it was fate that pushed them to not only taking the booyah here, but for allowing Kush to be on this MVP. With their positioning, with their game plan, it was reliant on this chaos providing them that perfect cover for them to then use it as a gauge for victory.
Well, talking about the revival and revival members, it is none spotted. So Shripach never played for those revival or the losses of the players. They wanted to make sure they survived from the beginning until the end. And if this is how they are going to be, they are going to continue their play with the precise zone prediction. I do believe they can be spotted in top 3 by the end of the day. But they need to make sure they continue to do what they did right now. I do know that gaining all the booyahs is not possible, is not going to work out, but sure, you can still stick to the same rules of surviving until the final circle, stick to the same casual 4 to 5 frags or maybe 6 frags sometimes, and stick into the survival of top 3 teams. If this is all Shripach does it, it is fairly good enough to stick into the top 3 for their very own respective groups. But Kush will be the very first MVP, as you mentioned. 3 frags, 1 assist, total damage dealt is 3496, and Anam Lama, well, nobody takes that away, isn't it? They're still going to have that total of 20 points, and as equal as we talk about, high voltage is also going to have exact 20 points in their name.
Yeah, we do notice that apart from Ali and High Voltage, who have a significant amount of kill points, how evenly the kills are distributed. S5, Emily, WB, you also have Beck for Mercy. So these are teams that have, what, 5-6 kill points individually. Back in the day, we didn't have as many teams who were able to contest this heavily in towards the midfield, especially early on. So a lot more action, if that's what we have on the board, means that this table that we're going to get to see is going to get even more sweatier, Tanya. And that's what we're going to look forward to now. Map 2, unlike normal rotations, now it's going to be Kalahari, right? We're going to head into the desert. So we're going to start things off with sweat. Now, like you said, Kalahari for a while was that kind of a game changer map. I still feel like with the new meta, Kalahari is going to be a little hard to play. I think that out of all the maps, it'll be harder for you to get that revive action running on Kalahari due to the way that map is structured and due to the inherent advantages a lot of those POIs have, especially in terms of refinery. We've seen a lot of bamboozle action over the years, and yeah, I'm just hoping that we get to see another refinery finish. What are you looking forward to with our coming map?
Well, I don't know if we are going to have a look at refinery finish for the start, but I'm going to look for the crash landings on the refinery without a doubt. The players would want to get that big center of the map, and just like we witnessed on the side of Rimnam village, where two teams had no business to jump in, and that was the element of surprise. Having new teams is equal to having some new strategies joining in. So talking about refinery, which has always been the hot drop, are we going to expect some early battles happening there, or it it is going to be some other spot, just like not Clock Tower witnessing the first blood, but Rimnam village. Now, are we going to see that something else? But what I like the most was about the scorecard, not even a single team going away with 0 points. Each and every team, last bottom two teams also had one frag in their name. They do have 1 pointers. So the start is fairly good. And talking about Kalahari, Refinery will be the early drop point. But my eyes will also be on Council Hall. That is also one of the locations where players definitely go for the biggest amount of loot. Resurrection point is near, and also the vending machines are very near.
Yeah. Although I do miss those sub fights too. The sub fights I think used to be my favorite out of everything in this map. Regardless, we are gonna go into it, ladies and gentlemen. We have Kalahari up as map 2. A lot of these teams, with the way it's been going, we can expect so much more early action. Like you said, crash landings, something that we need to keep an eye out for. Although Refinery is not going to be where it's at, Tanya. So a slight disappointment in that front. Although I think we might get to see a Duke of over at Stone Ridge. And that is the only POI with multiple teams. So yeah, I think 3 teams close to each other. This is going to be a lot. This is going to be reliant a lot on the circle to draw in rotations. At least in terms of Kalahari, it's way more spread out than the way Bermuda was. Although we're still going to get a good taste of early action. And how fitting that it's Shri Punch who start things off here in the desert.
Stonebridge, well, the team to take away the Booyah is going to go for the immediate battle. Let's see how is it going to turn against Chandra Surya here. Shri Punch, the team who always want to go for the safer approach, survive until the end, they aren't allowed. And whatever loot they can get from these broken houses of Stonebridge, they have to fight it with them. And I wouldn't deny that they have practiced enough to fight with whatever weaponaries they possess. But Chandra Surya, they weren't very outstanding in previous map, so I do believe they are trying to turn the tables. They are going to make sure they get as many frags as possible, and they can also go ahead and try the Booyah baggers. They can also go ahead and try to eliminate the Booyah baggers to show that we do still exist, we are here to dominate, but damage is still not being exchanged.
Yeah, Tama's just trying to play that cheeky angle, and on the other side we have Kush, who's all alone on the bridge getting sandwiched. Mind you, the MVP of map 1, and he needs to survive for as long as humanly possible. Hurry, high ground, but he's not able to find that frag on towards that solo flanker. Although his team is not really having the best of starts to this fight. Beautiful nade from Holy, and he finishes the job off on Rocket. High voltage. They're trying to chime into this fight, maybe. They look to be interested, although CHS, they've suffered so much casualty already.
2 players lost. In previous map, they only had 1 point altogether, and now they wouldn't want to have an entire team getting eliminated. They are going to chase out. They're going to run out of this battle. But on the course, there's some other battle happening. It was Anamlama Esports, of course it is, and they are also trying to enter the dual zone against Sri Pach. Well, now this is going to be very risky. The number 1, the table topper, are initiating. Anam, the man himself, goes for the first frag, followed by other 2 frags in the name, 1 for Dishkant, 1 for Anam, and they are still trying to close in near to the broken houses, broken compounds of the Stone Ridge. 2 players lost for Chandra Surya, now 2 players also lost for Sri Pach.
Yep, the circle, a centric rotation, and it's not gonna force a lot of teams out of comfort just yet. We will start to notice that their early rotations towards the inside will kind of favor a couple of these teams. You can look at S5 trying to just cartwheel their way around, right? And considering LW and their early rotation, now they're in prime real estate to maybe intercept. Although, yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to how the revive action's gonna pan out on this map in specific. With this map being, I think, the second most open map compared to Purgatory, it's not as forgiving as Bermuda in that sense. So watching teams play for a long game might just be more indicative of how they choose to commit to their drop than their rotation. If they want to drop and camp towards a vending machine, that'd be something that they'd be more comfortable hinging their bets on. Although Back for Mercy are eyeing this fight, and everybody from Back for Mercy now landing in that front line, and it's Cosmic trying to provide cover duty from that high ground. Are Moonlight aware is the question. Arjun, all the way in the low ground, is semi-isolated, and he needs to make his way back to his team. But Back for Mercy, they've inched their way close, and Dada almost found that first frag, which could have been the catalyst to this push. Well, at least it's making it fast. That's all it's meant to do. With Back for Mercy circling around Emily like sharks, Moonlight have a small window now to fight back.
And here exactly, this is what Beg for Mercy will want for themselves. But on the course, Novi is going for the grenade knocks and also no delay in the finishers. That is something that High Voltage are doing it for as long as I remember. But we bros are also not going to sit and calm. They're going to take their revenge. Though that is all happening on the other side of the map. Sticking back to the grounds of Shines here. A long range battle coming in from side of Cosmic. Damage is delivered every single time. But the damage is sufficiently insufficient to go ahead, grab that finisher, and a stalker down on the knees. Will he be confirmed? Indeed, yes. High Voltage will be the very first team to get eliminated. They were as equal as #1 team. They had a total of 20 points in their name, but now they're all gone, and we could not see exactly how many frags did they have in their name.
From afar, Cosmic landed that frag, and that's an opening that Back for Mercy were asking for like a minute ago, right? You can see that off the back of that frag, Back for Mercy was so out of position that this recommitment might actually be what ends up losing them this chance. Although Moonlight trying to deal with the pace, trying to cope with this imminent danger. They're trying to make their way through that lower ground. Although this rotation should be heard. Moonlight still caught off guard. Arjun needs to make his way back to safety. That chrono just an inch away, but he's not able to make it count. Back for Mercy. Two of their players down in the dust. Moonlight, they quickly find a way to turn this fight around, and the apparent miscommunication from Back for Mercy, it costed them a lot. Cosmic, sure, he might have gotten that frag, it's all cool, but if you're not in position, there's no way that he can full send it in that fashion. There was a risk ever since they started making that maneuver, and they suffered the consequences.
With only 27 HP and the place to go ahead and resurrect, will he be able to reach there? Well, we are going to talk about that, but let's again talk about Anam Lama Esports. Once again, they are trying to dominate the sub area. 4 frags already in the name. They are trying to use the height advantage against them. Well, they have lost one of the players is already down and out. Let's see how many more can they get against Lone Wolves here. Neon very close, and first of all, they have got a tendency to send a freeze bomb first, make them suffer a little by reducing their HP, then go ahead and give a full push. Anam will try to deliver as much of damage as possible, and Dishkant of the course, he has already shut down one of the players, and he's going to be the very first triple fragger for this map of Kalahari.
Yeah. Neon should be a done deal. There we go. Saho finishes off the job. Back for Mercy. Out in position 10 now. Kalahari still continues to be quite the game changer, ain't it, Tanya? A lot of these top teams getting eliminated so early. Although now we talk about top teams being eliminated early, and I see S5 on the other side of the screen. I'm starting to feel a little scared for them, Tanya. They're all the way down in that low ground. The guns are blazing for TRU at the moment. They're trying to find that opening frag there. The glue wall, for now, sufficient enough to halt the fire, but yeah, TRU, they have a distinct advantage with this positioning, and it's gonna... Wait, what? They find that opening? Holy hell, dude, these guys, you can't mess with them, can you?
Sure, you wouldn't want to, even if you can, because getting a knock from lower ground to upper ground, that is something imaginary, and they are putting it right in front of our eyes. The player is resurrected. Sure, team TRU has got a tower control, has got a platform control, but Shripach are against them. Team Reunite is the team with only one pointer in their name in previous maps. This time they wouldn't want to face the exact same. The Booyah Baggers, well, two players safely escaped the grounds of Stone Ridge, and they are trying to retaliate into the exact fashion. But will this team allow them? 4 versus 2 was the situation then. Resurrection still will be handy because it is not even the first circle getting closed.
So this position that TRU are holding, we mentioned this on so many broadcasts, Tanya. It's an important position to refinery for you to have a good game of Kalahari, but you need to have the firepower and the ability to hold it as well. That's, however, something that we'll get back to later, because NES, they've all of a sudden found themselves in a frenzy as ALE just decided to rotate in and continue their spree of just sweeping teams off their feet and off the server. Although the first frag doesn't go their way, Sahil almost being confirmed. That gives enough room for MJ to jump in. That is a trap, however. And ALE, it's all left on Addiction, and he's making a run for it. He's popped his bike, although they are viciously firing at his direction, trying to make him pay. Did they finish it off? No, I don't think so.
No, he definitely survived, but he was ready to go in the blue zone with no Misha ability in his name. He was using Skylar as we spotted, but Nepstar are bringing up some action, and on the course, Lone Wolves are also forcing in the resurrection. If you talk about the circle, some parts of Refinery are still going to be the part of it, so V-Bros are going to pick as much of advantage as possible, but as soon as we talk about it, it is going to be Lone Wolves jumping into the vicinity of V-Bros now. This is very risky for Lone Wolves.
I'm also worried that Azid from Webros is just chilling at command post and still not moving, where now NES are right at his door front. So yeah, that's gonna be hard for them to look over. On the other side though, you can see that a lot of teams are now committing their rotation to then get their way inside the circle. And that fight between Lone Wolf at Refinery against the odds against the high ground, that's soon gonna be in fruition. I think they are pretty unaware as to the positioning of Tapa. Now that they open fire, they are lethal with it. Almost getting that confirmation as well. Sadly, not having artillery is going to be a problem. They had one nade. If they would have lopped it in at the perfect moment, could have been a confirmation. Not going to be the case, however. Look at the job Kabin is doing right now. He's found the flank, he's found the low ground, and now with that kind of positioning, it enables KKR to try and fight back, although opportunity is something that they're not given that easily. With the circle closing in, they are the ones who need to make a move, and SE, even though they have the man disadvantage, it's possible for them to make this fight work.
Skylers, well, Shockwave sent, the players are losing HP, and the player quite far away is going to get as many frags as possible. First, it is going to be Sanura Gaming Esports with 0 casualties in their name, and Kukri Esports. The gatekeeping opportunity was in the hands of Sanura Gaming, but look at Kukri Gaming. Kukri Esports, they are racing in front of everybody in the open, and there's nothing that this team can do with 2 players still surviving. Mini Forain in his hand. This is a DMR weapon where he can deliver most of the damage possible, but on the other ground though, it is going to be Team Reunited try to pick up fight elsewhere, and there's going to be one team elimination happening, and treatment guns will be used. Are they out of health kits?
Nope, not. It doesn't look like Moonlight are having any problem in that department, however. KK. Ooh, what? Again, some of these frags are just obscene. You'd assume they go the other way, but not. It just defies all logic. KKR they have that high ground here. So Moonlight, they're boxed in. They are the ones who need to come in the rotation here. Moonlight, how did he not spot it? Simon, no! He played aggressive. I'm not sure if his thumb blocked it, if he didn't see him, but that's a huge misplay, and that's costed his entire team the opportunity here in Kalahari. The nightmare.
It is a real nightmare. Now the history is going to repeat. Robin is not going to willfully pick up fight here. He's going to survive for the resurrection of other teammates, because vending machine is still near within the circle. Can go for this chance, can go for that resurrection opportunity with vehicles coming in handy. But on the course, there's going to be other team who is trying to go for the gatekeeping opportunity. Sripach this time is sticking to their survival instinct. They want to make sure they survive until the final circle. But Moonlight Esports are now against Sanura Gaming Esports. Well, Sanura Gaming, they are all shut thanks to the zone as well. Team reunited. Now the teams are getting eliminated one by one, with now only 4 teams and 12 players surviving and fighting.
Yeah, and S5 being one of the only top dogs from map 1 to actually survive the storm here in Kalahari so far, right? They have the opportunity now to extend that lead and make this map truly count for what it's worth. They have all their 4 members up so far. Holy is being tagged down by his adversaries, although he does have cover towards this low ground of Refinery. Look at the circle. It's kind of zone struck a lot of these teams, right? With it being yet again out in the open field where verticality is the only difference maker, teams like MLE are gonna be at a distinct disadvantage, Tanya. S5, they're in prime position to maybe even bag this booyah, but their rotation needs to be downright brilliant because they need to outmaneuver WB. That's the way they claim victory, and right now WB aren't even looking. Lollipop, he should be a little incognito with this kind of an approach, although his team now taking that frontal push. It's not panned out. I felt like Trigger Discipline might have been the only saving grace for them. WB with Supreme's position might just have this one in their claws.
Now it is going to be Dragog and his basic weapon grenade coming to the action, where he's going to shut Sudhir. But for how long will still be the question, because Dragog is also down on the knees and will be finished in no time. It is going to be last man, Superman, surviving here. It is the situation of 2 versus 1. 14 frags coming in from side of V-Bros. They are trying to break all the records possible. Sripach still sticking to their basics. Top 3 teams already accumulated. 7 frags already gained. Now all they want to do is put a shut against V-Bros. And this is exactly Moonlight would want to entertain. If the last man survives until the end, it is going to be all gala time. But Rohit will not allow that happen so easily.
Yeah, look at the HP on WB though, it's a problem. And now the last member of Moonlight Esports striking from the shadows. It's all on a Holy who's outside the circle, tanked a lot of damage, and Moonlight get the booyah. It was so chaotic, and you couldn't have written this any better, right? Moonlight Esports Superman was just biding his time, waiting for the perfect moment, and as soon as he was overlooked, it all went to hell. What a booyah. What a game. We not only had some of the top dog gets derailed, we get Moonlight Esports, who were a team that you were personally looking forward to, Tanya, get that booyah in a very good fashion off of a very nice individual play, and we got to see yet another top dog be a consistent force to extend their lead in the start of this tournament, and that being S5. So, boy oh boy, this map 2 was delightful.
Sripach, well, they still try to get that second consecutive booyah, which was denied. V-Bros losing 1 player down by zone. I think that was exactly not they were ready for. As soon as that was done, the player of last man from Moonlight, Superman himself, made sure of he showed all the superpowers that he possessed, took down the second man, and then it was all about 1v1, and that duel was totally won. Talking about Moonlight, they were already spotted in top 5 in the previous map. They are also being very consistent in that records. Talking about S5, they are also being very consistent here. Two teams who are not spotted in top 4, well, Anam Lama Esports, high voltage, they got eliminated pretty quickly. But we do have B Bros here, and I do think they are going to be the table toppers here with the amount of frags that they were able to convert. And that is exactly the resurrection points have turned the tables to. They want to get those amount of frag points inclusive of top 3 points, and that is everything that any team would want to dream. Getting into double digit club, sticking to top three teams, and they are very nearing to Booyah, yet if they're not able to win it, still fine. They are going to get that number 1 position.
Yeah, and I think that for, like, let's say a team like We Bros right now, I think it should solidify them at least towards the top 3. That's what I'm hoping that a decent result like this on Kalahari would deliver. Because let's be honest, having a top 3 finish is something that helps you make that consistency in terms of those placement points, which at least with the old meta of Free Fire used to be the textbook way to play the game. Now it's a more assured way to make sure that your momentum is not going to be at risk. So WB should have an upshift. There should be a big upshift by a team like S5. Moonlight Esports should be towards the bottom end of that podium, or maybe at least taking that top 3 position, because mind you, alongside the Booyah, they did get a decent bit of frags fighting all the way from the low ground for such a long time. And all this could be only answered as we get a chance to relive Kalahari, as we get a chance to relive map 2. We started off with Action, didn't we? And in all honesty, this still gave me reminders of how things happened in map 1. Sequential fights, Tanya, not chaotic fights, not it wasn't even an affair where 5 teams were at it at the same POI or 2 fights were happening at the same front. That was very rarely the occasion. A lot of these fights seem very rotation based, and some of them even targeted, like ALE walking into this compound without knowing that they're walking into their own doom.
And then it was all about last man, well, risking himself, going to the blue zone, trying to resurrect, and he successfully managed to do so as well. Talking about Sonura Gaming Esports, they had the advantage everywhere possible, but still they were taken down one by one. Talking about Kukri Esports here, Rabin did try to go for the survival play. Rabin did try to go for getting as close as possible towards the vending machine, but he was also denied. And talking about Sripach, they were also attacked very brutally. Look at that Skylar ability being used, grenades being thrown up from Kush to Stalker. Stalker was revived in no time, without a doubt, sure, but then there was nothing much more that could have been done by Holy as well. He did try to go in, and Vibros going for the shot, and we do have Superman as the MVP kills from Moonlight Esports. 6 headshots connected. Now that is massive. Out of 9 frags, he gets 6 headshots. Now that is precision of aim. I'm talking about damage. 9 kills, 3000 points of damage doesn't match up. He has also given a lot of assists for his teammates.
Yeah, I don't know what's more sharp, Tanya. Is his aim sharper or his hairline? Yeah, man is looking fly both off the server and on the server. Like you said, Moonlight Esports, a lot of this brilliance that Superman was able to put off, especially in that 1 versus 1 versus 2, it helped Moonlight get a very, very deserved booyah in some aspects, and I want to see how this impacts the overall standings. That's something that the current standings can answer us better. Moonlight Esports, they're a team that, like T2K, have somewhat of a reputation to uphold, and the fact that they got this booyah, it gives them so much more of an opportunity. The fights that they took netted them 10 kills as a whole, but still, Webros with 15 kills overall. Now that just shows how this meta has swayed. The amount of points that's up for grabs via kills is so inflated that we're gonna see a lot of berserk tournaments up in the coming future, man.
Of course we are. We bros. Well, Kalahari was not supposed to be the table turner, but sure, we bros are going to make their own, and they are still turning the tables all the way from position 4, if I'm not mistaken. They are getting an upshift to position 1, but still, Moonlight Esports being the consistent one. They were in top 4 previously, still continuing to be having the booyah. They are going to be the number 1, at least after 2 matches. 1 point of a lead is not massive. A tough competition spotted in
Yeah.
top 3 slots. We bros with a score of 33 without a booyah, OG. Now, don't you think that is too much? And talking about Sri Pach, they also have 33 pointers, but with the booyah. And we bros are playing it about kills, and that is what about the new meta is all about. Resurrection, frags, as many as possible, and we bros are not denying that. They are trying to get that as many as possible.
Yeah, you see them going so kill hungry towards that last circle, and mind you, even ALE aren't that far back from that podium step. So we might see that top 4 become very, very sweaty. Also, with the way that Kalahari went, now we have Purgatory in the bag after a short break. You never know who's gonna come up on top, Tanya. This could be a narrative that changes at a moment's notice, and none of us could see it coming. And there's still so much room, right? It's just day 1, and we're just done with 2 games. We still have 6 more to go to cap this day off.
Sure, the action is going to be very interesting, and it is going to rise up as much as possible. And talking about Vibros, are they going to be consistent enough on the map of Purgatory as well? The map with 3 islands and 1 mini map in the mainland, which is going to be the tiniest one. Let's see who is going to jump in there, who wants to go for the safer strategy. But we are going to discuss it about after a short break.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen, with the Free Fire Nepal Championship 2022. We got a chance to witness a couple of old classic maps. We're gonna go head over to Purgatory Map 3, and for all those who are just tuning in, we still have Map 4 of Alpine yet to be on debut. So these 2 maps that are going to be up on air, ladies and gentlemen, could change the way this entire tournament has panned out. So far, we've only had 2 maps out of the first day so far, Tanya. This has gone as we've expected, right? We're expecting a lot of action. We've gotten a lot of action, although the chaos and the, how do I say that? The sense of panic in Free Fire is still a little absent, although that's something I think Purgatory's final few circles can solve for us.
For sure, the chaos is not going to be a major miss on the map of Purgatory. Well, imagine a triple island finish, and now the chaos is going to go to another level. But if at all we are going,
Exactly.
if at all we are going to witness that or no, because most casually where the circles does get end up is going to be fields. Let's see who is going to predict the zone very precisely, who is going to stick. Because talking about Team Street Punch, they have got an ability to go for the zone prediction very wisely, very nicely. They are able to survive until top 3, and if they are able to do that every single time, it's going to be a commendable day for them. But talking about we bros, how are they going to perform? Ladies and gentlemen, we are heading for the third game for the day, map being Purgatory. The flight path is going to go from west towards the east. Western Island is going to be a little extra populated, sure, because the flight path is indicative. So
Yeah. This is basically going to be every place except for Moat House getting a decent bit of tourists. Although we might get to see a bigger deal, like you said, on the Southern Islands. Usually I'm used to seeing one team in Central, one team in Fire Brigade, and occasionally a team in Lamamel. Although this time we are going to get to see a decent bit of action towards the left-hand side of the map, and it's S5 versus KKR. Alright, the big dog yet again gonna start off the action, and this is a trend that just continues to amaze, continues to keep the juices in this take, which so far it's a hard one for KKR to swallow. Two of their members already down in the drain, and that forces Robin yet again to run for the hills, run for his team, and play the long game as he tries to search for some hope and the vending machine. If either comes his way, he'll be happy, but it depends if the bullet's gonna hit him first.
well, after getting 3 frags from Street Punch, they are leveling up their games from not only survival but also going for the crash landing and winning those duels. And they are going in, racing, roaring with the jeeps that they possess. Sure, they are trying to roar the jeeps and push against the enemies, but they are now going to go as everything is all settled for sure. Except Lollipop, he doesn't want to settle as yet. He want to make sure he rushes still into the enemies. He gets the confirmation. We're talking about Anam Lama Esports. They have got 1 frag, but they have lost the MVP player, Dishkant, the triple fragger of previous map. As soon as I say that, Anam is going to resurrect him.
Aww. Got proven wrong, eh? Yet old caster curse proves us wrong yet again. Nice. Okay, so at least that hasn't changed. For now though, this resurrection, it's gonna help TRU to get a couple members back on board. And TRU, the team that landed early in Refinery, right? I don't think we got to see a lot of action from this team the last time around, which is saddening considering they were in the dead center of this map. And talking about being loud and loud, B4M and ALE, both teams who have been pretty vocal in the last 2 maps, getting a chance to lock horns, and Purgatory yet again is gonna be a heartbreak for one of these 2 teams. So far, Back for Mercy are having decent positioning, all things said and done in the site. That is a heartbreak. That revive came in, what, a minute ago? And again, they're just off to his grave.
Well, let's be honest. This was Dishkant's move, sending in the freeze bomb first, then using the rifles. He was treated exactly the same pattern, holding himself in the tower, freeze bomb sent, and then comes the AR and the finisher. He will be resurrected soon, without a doubt. But now that was too much to handle. Talking about the current position, Team Reunited are against Team Chandra Surya. In previous map, they couldn't get a good positioning, a good frag, and 2 teams on the grounds of Moat House. Didn't we talk about it? Who want to go for the safe bet? Now there are total of 2 teams trying to go for the safe landing. It is going to be 2 frags in their name, but highest resource zone is also going to be one of the key factors where 2 players are trying to rush in. They would want those hands, they would want their hands on hand cannons without a doubt, and which is amazing for sure. You would want that because grenades are not everywhere available.
Yeah. I'm kind of worried about Cosmic here. Look how isolated he is from his team. The same can be said about Harvey, who was taken down by Cosmic. Lurk on lurk action. And that is just heartbreaking. He didn't even intend to find that frag, but he still got it. Still got it. He's gonna be happy about that without a doubt. CHS, they're still able to revive one of their teammates, and that being KRS Chal. So they still have that one member lost to the horizon, and at least they have information now that their backlines is exposed. They should also anticipate somebody else's presence towards Modehouse, although Beg for Mercy are just trying to be as patient as possible. They're trying to work on the back of Cosmic's information that he's able to relay over to the other side.
What grabs my eye most is going to be a triple island circle, but before that, let's head upon the fight that is happening. Well, the players are falling one by one. It is all about the last man standing. He is going to go for the survival, for the revival, and that is the best that he can do. Chandra Surya, he wouldn't want to get down and out so quickly. And Anand Lama losing a player is not going to get counted. The players are going to be back on his feet, but how will they be allowed on the grounds of Quarry though? We have Sri Pach with 3 flags, control over the towers. That is equal to a good vision on all different angles. Talking about lone wolves here, they are trying to go use the rocks as the covers, the trees as the covers, and they are trying to push into the big compounds, into the big mills here. But will they be allowed with Lollipop sticking into the tower with the clear-cut eagle view?
Yeah, seen a lot of times that sniper tower has been death boxes essentially, right, for whoever tries to play inside. So that's something that they need to be a little worried about. S5, they had a nice start to this map. They have 3 kills in the bag already. Lollipop is just trying to push the pedal to the metal. Hopefully he doesn't get punished. There's a lot of players around this vicinity, and some even having snipers. Luffy, is he gonna try running him down? He gets that blue wall disposed of. He's still trying to elude their bullets like he's Neo from the Matrix, and at any point right now, if he gets knocked, it's gonna be problematic. S5, they're gonna be happy that his comrades back in their loving embrace, and they're not looking to risk anything as much. There is a drop right around the corner as well. So yeah, S5, they got the information that they were looking for, and now they can try and theory craft how they want to commit their rotation outside that vicinity. Well, the high voltage, I'm pretty sure that they're going to be itching for a fight because they've got none to show for at the moment, and NES are a team that's been so unfortunate that a fight like this might just be what changes their game today. So either side having big implications on how this fight turns out. Ooh, juicy nade.
What a perfect freeze bomb sent, followed by some grenades. Well, they are wanting to make sure to get the early knock, and then comes the push, but they are going to be retaliated with the exact play point. Novi with little to no HP is going to use the blue walls as a cover and is going to heal, but on the course Adem is going to reach to the exact heights. But look at that shot coming in from Pikachu. Is going to take down Adem in no time. Now the players will start to push in to confirm those knocks into frags. Will they be allowed so casually? I believe no. There is going to be the counter fight happening as well. 3 versus 4. Definitely the upper hand will go into the hands of Beg for Mercy.
Yeah, nice play with the shotgun though. And that keeps high voltage in it to win it. Gets yet another poison, and he's doing a delightful job in keeping his team alive in a tough situation. He needs to play smart here. He needs to play timing. He needs to play the angles. He's getting rushed. The nade alongside the shotgun does a brilliant job close range. Poison truly living up to his name. And he's giving NES the shivers and chills. Do they know? Did they know Pikachu's whereabouts? I think Novi just about spotted. Yes, he did. Shotgun out in hand. Oh no! The instant turnaround on Pikachu. That was brilliant. That was beautiful. That was lovely. And Novi, so far, he's been punished. It's pulled poison back to support his teammate. Mind you, the vending machine right around the corner, so there's a reason for this fight to happen. The sickle! Pikachu, that is brilliant! It's been a while since we've seen something like that. I'm so happy that we got to see this, and how fitting that it happened on Purgatory, right? The unpredictable, baby.
Sure, they are unpredictable, and melee finishers are always very interesting to watch. And by the way, this was the second one. There was one in the kill feed coming in from side of Lollipop, and that was a side
Oh,
finisher as well. Though we could not witness that, I'm happy we were able to witness it. Talking about
yeah.
Anamlama Esports here with total of 2 frags, 4 players on feed. Now
Wait,
this is going
what's
to be
happening?
a clear-cut race. The
Oh,
players
God.
are resurrected, and now this is the exact time where Anamlama Esports are going to make the most use out of it. Got one knock already, confirmed it. Rabin down with the zone. Well, we'll talk about it a little later, but this time they were literally waiting for the shoots to open and get those frags into their name, and they were able to get those.
Yeah, Muma KKR just got eliminated, my friend. So, another team off the server. And Ali surprisingly falling victim here. They'd assume that they'd have a decent advantage, but back for Mercy, they're rolling up on the back lines. And this fight's gotten a whole lot messier. Here the Amara knocks. Another one for Back for Mercy now bites the dust. This suddenly is starting to look like a fight that Back for Mercy did not want to take. And again, the swiftness. That is Back for Mercy that we're talking about. And the fact that Ali just eliminated them like that, delightful. We're going to see quite the palette of kills today. The harmless bystanders who were falling down with parachutes, the grueling gunfights, the gut-wrenching turnaround. Now that Chrono dropped an ALE, one of the members dropped as well. LW, they're trying to play off their numbers disadvantage. They have gotten that revive back up on Luffy and Neon, so they can play this one together. Although look at how split they are. And High Voltage are just going to be rolling in from the back line. So this is going to be yet another third-party extravaganza if they manage to find timing.
They are going to find the timings anyhow. They are going to make sure that they reach towards the vending machine as early as possible, and they are going for the route. And talk about Circle, now we don't have the triple island finisher, sure, but we do have a lot of flat lands. We have Mount Villa. Now this is exactly where Moonlight Esports might have to fight against Team SC. Well, that is not happening. They are just walking past through, catching no one. One player is trying to go stand near to that vending machine, and he is caught off guard. It is going to be 1 versus 4. Now that is too much to handle and to retaliate as well.
Yep. Circle. I love how unpredictable it's getting, man. No team is having any luck whatsoever when it comes to predicting the rotation and predicting where they need to be. This is like Free Fire at its best, right? This is why I love Battle Royale. You can make all the right calls, but you still won't be in the right place to take the dub. Did they not spot that back lines is being invaded by a bike? Okay, that is ironic. I see us still making their way inside the circle, and right behind them they have an uninvited guest.
Well, the teams are always going to be, opponent teams are always going to be the uninvited ones. They are not going to be treated with foods and meals. They are going to be treated with lead and blood. Well, treatment guns here will be used from Sanura Gaming Esports, and they are going to survive on the course. Lone Wolves are being the victims against Team Anam Lama, and High Voltage this time also picking up a good pace. 6 frags already, nearing to vending machine. Team Reunited is also put to shut down. 7 teams are still surviving in the final circle. Now this is the map of Get Free, where we have witnessed a case of scenario where almost 10 teams are also surviving, and thanks to those resurrection points, thanks to those vending machines where the players are again making sure of that their teams are back on foot. Talking about Moonlight here, the players are going very safe this time, trying to follow the mind play of Shripach. Will they succeed in surviving until top 3?
Oh, that was Moonlight Esports' player, and yeah, it's gonna be harder now for Moonlight to maybe repeat the kind of brilliance they did in the map prior. Although let's not forget that was a 1 versus 1 versus 2, so right now anything is possible, ain't it? We boys, the team that had the advantage in the closing segment of the map before, we need to see them get a little bit of luck here. Although real estate is something that they aren't going to be able to get their hands on, It's something that very few teams in the circle have a luxury to, and Moonlight Esports, they need to get this fight started off on the right foot. They're already a man down and they cannot suffer any more issues or problems. So far they've gotten the knocks, they've been clinical with their approach, and they've gotten a kill to reward them for it. Although their positioning is soon going to be a little hectic once this high ground becomes part of the void and the circle is starting to close in.
The circle will close in, and so will Moonlight Esports, the team where I just said a minute ago that they don't have any frags in the game. They are able to get a total of 4 frags. Talking about Netstars, Unknown will be the last man standing. Vibro Stalker is still alive, one of the best sniper in the nation of Nepal. Well, let's see how many frags can he convert in his name. But Moonlight Esports, where are they picking up first fight? They are trying to pick up fight against Anam Lama Esports. Now that is real threat, because MJ just confirmed Superman in no time. And did you see that? That was a kill steal coming in. K9 shot. It was a kill steal. Last man standing, and you got to get those moves. Sure, you would want those points secured.
Yeah, let's see what Vibros have to offer, because this is when Vibros truly come alive, don't they? Even in the game prior, this is where they bagged so many of their previous kill points, and it looks like right now the iron's hot and it's striking hard. They've found 7 kills a total already. Yet another down on the wayside. Shotguns up close and personal. They've found 2 more to bag. 1 away from double digits here, WB. And 1 away from a booyah. We mentioned that this team not having a booyah felt a little odd. Tanya, I think they've answered your question. And anybody else who might have had an inkling of a doubt. We bros bag a booyah, and in dominant fashion as well. What a game from start to finish.
Reign Supreme from Supreme. Perfect MVP spotted here coming in from side of Vibros. Very well played, very well executed, and getting double digit frags and also booyah. Now that is too much to handle, and I do believe the buffer of 1-pointer, 2-pointer, now that is not going to get counted anymore, because the buffer is going to convert into a massive lead after this match. Vibros not picking up early frags, but sure, not denying any. As soon as anybody walked near to them, they made sure of to turn them into dead meat.
The only way that a team is not going to get a substantial lead now is if all the top teams play consistently, which we know that they haven't, right? Even in this map, we saw a lot of these big dogs go down in early fights. A lot of these teams now having a major reshuffling process through the order, and that's something that we'll only get to understand how it pans out later when we do get to see that current standing. This, I think, was a very, very nice map of Purgatory. It kept things like they were back in ye good old days, right? So unpredictable. You never know who's gonna take a fight with whom. That last circle was a thing of heaven. Nobody had a clear advantage there, but with the ability to rotate together and with everybody watching each other's back from the side of Vibros, they had a big advantage as they marched their way into the circle. You saw them cartwheel their way all around the circle, trying to bag these kills in the last few circles, and that's why they've been having a very good power surge. A total of 12 frags alongside that booyah, that gives them 24 points if my 10th grade maths is any good. So, you know, that is just beautiful stuff. It allows them to have such a big lead where the margin in the top 4 is so minute.
It was the position number 2 and 3 were sharing the score 33. Now I don't know how much of upset are they going to face, but Vibros are going to create the lead, and it was total of 10 frags and 12 booyah points. Now that is a good lead created, and next map is going to be the map of Philippines, where we are not very sure of how it is going to end up. Now talking about Purgatory, where we always say that play of patience come into role, but each and every team was pretty impatient about it. They want wanted to make sure to convert those knocks into frags as early as possible. Nobody was playing patient, but everybody was playing for frags. Everybody was trying to get those finishers. Few teams did manage to survive, but as soon as the circle was shrinking in, they were not able to pull them within the entire safe zone. And that is the last thing any player would want to do that. And then Bros having all 4 players on their feet. Now, don't you think that threat is real? Previous game, they did not get the booyah, sure, but they had 17 or 15 frags in their name. This time, they had all 4 players on their feet. Now, that was already very dictative that they were going to bag away the booyah in no time.
Yeah, and I think the best way to relive that is through that visual experience, right? So I'm still itching for those replays. There was a lot of places where those rotations were so hampered by the zone movement yet again, which continues to be the trendsetter. And there are a couple of teams now that I'm starting to feel worried about, Tanya. I think TRU are one of those teams. They find themselves in decent positions when they drop off the plane. Nobody can contest them whatsoever. But after that start, you never really see this team come alive in the thick of it, in the action. So I hope that they're able to kind of dig deep and find form. We've seen a couple of big names prove their worth in the server, and we've seen a couple of new names take their place as well. And like you said, this sickle finish, sure, might be the second of what we got to witness, but the first on the screen. This, alongside the nades, are what I missed from Free Fire, Tanya. I think the nade launcher still has a couple of clips that we could come to expect. Nothing that we've seen so far in terms of beautiful nades, right? We've seen a couple that does damage, but nothing that's very, very immaculate as such. We had Superman as the MVP for map 2. Now it's Supreme to take the MVP for map 3, ladies and gentlemen, from Bros. We've seen the top dogs get their booyahs respectively, although I still think there's one top contender who's not gotten their hand at that booyah just yet, who we would get to witness once we move on over to that current standing. But so far, Bros taking that booyah. What do you think, Tanya? Is there any other name? Because you mentioned that Bros were a team that you're looking personally to see success from. Well, you've gotten it.
They have gotten it. Team Anam Lama Esports again spotted in top 3. Now that is something good happening. Whereas talking about Moonlight Esports, they are pushed down. Now they were battling against the Equalizer. Now that is going to be a massive upset into overall scorecard. We're talking about this particular map, and the man Supreme himself was able to give 4 assists and 3 frags. How much of a teamwork he is providing to his team. Not only delivering 3 frags, but also 4 assists, delivering massive amount of damage that is converted into frags for his team. Now that is everything that any team would want, a perfect teamwork execution, and that is exactly Team Bros are doing. Now talking about the overall scorecard, Bros are spotted with 1 booyah, total of 31 frags and 55 points. Well, not much of a buffer, but still 9 points of lead.
Yeah, what I'd say is not much of a buffer is what's between ALE and MLE. Look at Moonlight Esports, just 1 point behind position 2, and as you go down the order, it's still a very, very close and neck-to-neck affair, which in the context of this being an 8-mapper of a day, it can change with one team not performing in 2 consecutive maps. That is something that these teams are well within the reach of doing, because we've seen that even amongst the top teams of today, when the map changes, so does the story. You might not be the most dominant one. Heck, you might be the first team at the server. And that's something that I think you mentally need to be ready for. Because with the way this new format is, with the 8 maps that we have in rotation for every day, it's going to be a marathon. It's no longer a race. And you need to have your head in it for the long game. Alpine, though, ladies and gentlemen, is now what's going to be on our plate. And Tanya, I've tried to keep things fresh. This is the first time I'm going to get to see the map. You've gotten to see a little bit of the map. So for anybody who's tuning in who might be a little unaware as to what to expect, what could you give in terms of a couple of words?
Well, Malaysia, one of the biggest flat ground, a lot of compounds inclusive. I do call it a Brasilia of the map of Philippines. Brasilia being in the purgatory, where in previous days we did spot the rainbow, crash landings happening. Let's see who's going to take down whom. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the very first flagship tournament hosting the map of Philippines right in front of us, where V-Bros are leading. Are they going to create a lead here as well? Talking about the highest resource loot zone, it's going to be a stadium having two vending machines nearby. Snowfall, it is going to be lone wolves jumping near to that, where the loot amount of loot Snowfall has is going to be very well enough, realizing the threat is real. They are high voltage against them. They did not want to battle. They
Wow.
pack their bags, they jump back, and they are going to stick to Ocean View.
Yeah, although Stadium, like you said, a place where we look to see a lot of fights. Although Fusion is a hot ground right now. You have Bros, you have KKR, you have one member from, who is that, CHS? So, right off the bat, we have Bros who took the booyah in the map prior, duking it up earlier, and on the other fight it's also S5 who are in guns blazing. So a lot of top dogs taking this early fight yet again, and it's gonna be Holy who draws first blood here in the first appearance of Alpine.
First blood drawn already. That was pretty quick from the dominant team, V-Bros. Let's see, are they going to rub off the entire team, or one of the players is going to survive from Kukri Esports, initiating with grenade. Supreme, this is how he is able to deliver a lot of supportive, a lot of assistive kills, but this time V-Bros are getting wiped off, realizing this is the exact time they should be moving out of sight, and that's not going to happen. The players are getting to push in, and they are ready to take off their one by one last man standing, and this is going to be the very first time within first 2 minutes an entire squad wipe happening with Supreme. 3 frags in his name. Previously he secured the MVP title with 3 frags and 4 assists. He has already got those 3 frags so early on. What else is he going to deliver in the map of Alpine now?
Well, there's a vending machine right there, so he can deliver his teammates' life yet again. They could regain control and completely pop off. Again, it's Alpine, right? First time that we're getting to see it, so there's a lot of new things that we have to get ready for. Let's hope that it's gonna be as entertaining as the start, because this start's been delightful. Emily, they're gonna be very neck with another team who are right around the corner, and on the other side you also see Anam Esports, who might just go head to head with TRU, who aren't having the best of days, Tanya. And mind you, ALE are on a slow descent from the podium. So this fight, this map is going to be a crucial map for them to secure their slot towards the midpoint of day 1.
Anam Lama, they are spotted on position 2 right now, but it is going to be an entire elimination of the team CHS as well. They haven't had a very good time. In total, they have only had 3 points in previous game. Well, it is not something that they would have expected, but talking about Lone Wolves, Neon was able to successfully get 1 frag. Is he going for the second one? Dragog is the man against him. Resurrections are also spotted. 10 teams surviving, and look at the resurrection point that is totally committed, totally spotted, and the players are revived from V-Bros. 6 frags, 4 players back on foot is equal to, they are ready to deliver as much of damage as possible to any team against them.
V-Bros, they have 6 kills already, Tanya. This is gonna be quite the statement if they're able to pull off a very good showing on a repeat basis. This is essentially gonna secure them quite the buffer, isn't it, for day 1, if they manage to get a couple more frags and then play a little more secure for placements. It's gonna be a test of time. Let's hope that we bros have a good idea, because right now it looks fresh, it looks nice, and we're gonna get to see a lot of new teams try out new stuff in new terrain. That's entirely why I'm so hyped with this tournament. A lot of new things that we're gonna get to witness, right? With this new map in the rotation, a team like NES might be eyeing a booyah Moonlight Esports, they're a man down from the get-go. And the vending machine is right on the other side. So they're trying to be a little patient, Tanya. They're trying to see if NES might just forgo that position, or if they find a small advantage which they can then capitalize. And then not only have that vending machine to their disposal after the fight, but also have a nice couple of points in the back pocket once they're done.
Oh, they need to make sure not only in the front, but they also take care. They also watch out on their back. But as soon as we say that, Anam Lama, the players of Anam Lama Esports are again down to 2. Now let's see. It is going to be the battle of 2 versus 4. Sweetpatch spotted very good, spotted in very good position in very first 2 matches for the day, and they were rubbed off early on. But this time they have come with the motivation, with the dedication. Now this is very risky move coming in from side of Anam Lama's last player standing. He is sticking to the resurrection point. Will be spotted in no time. But on the course, Beg for Mercy is trying to push in against Team High Voltage. One cover fire player. And it is going to be Sarpa. Not only close range by weapon that he possesses, Mag 7, but also the Kingsman rifle. Let's see, how is he going to pick up the duel here?
Yeah, these angles in the garrison lane are kind of close and personal, so shotguns are going to be problematic here. And Lurie, he's good on the first with that XM. He's found Cosmic, who's been a standout player for Beg for Mercy for quite a while now, and Beg for Mercy, they found a way to kind of stabilize. They're not really falling prey to these shotguns just yet, and that's a story that's quick to change as High Voltage are quickly turning up the heat. It's all left on Adada. He has the Wukong trying to commit that revive, and that's Beg for Mercy out. The 10th squad out from the server, and they're gonna bag a single point to show for Alpine. Meanwhile, we bros, they are steamrolling. 8 kills in the bag already, Tanya. This is starting to look darn near scary.
And talking about the zone prediction, didn't we talk about it, that Militia is going to be the part of the circle? For now it is. Let's see where the zone shift takes place. For now, Forest Red. Well, it is all red, blood red in Forest Red, and that blood is all drawn by V-Bros. And talking about the last man from Anam Lama Esports is trying to go slowly, and he has to make sure he's slow enough, otherwise he's going to get spotted. He might be taken down as well, and that is last thing he would want that into the last map for the first cycle.
Yeah, look at the south side of the circle though, Tanya. It's looking a whole lot of... There's a whole lot of teams. There's a whole lot of potential that this might even end up being like a 3-way or a 4-way affair if we get lucky, that is.
The circle has moved towards Railroad, Carousel, and there were teams there. Garrison is left outside the circle now. High Voltage with 4 frags. They are within the circle. All they need to do is hunt a good position. And Sahil manages to revive Anam. Now that is something good. He might be having those golden coins to resurrect, or he might have jumped into that resurrection point. And he was in the blue zone as well. So whatever he did it for the need. Oh, this is the need of the point, to get as many players back on feet. But look at Moonlight Esports. They are surrounded by total of 3 teams. Don't you think it is very, very risky position to grab a biggest compound? Sure, you would want that. But then 3 teams trying to get the control of the same compound. Now that is something very risky.
Risk comes with rewards though. We've seen quite a bit of that, haven't we, today? Especially in map 2. Considering Moonlight Esports' Booyah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we gotta see today that simply don't make sense. And Moonlight Esports, you speak of the devil, they're involved with the devil's business. They are currently in a fight, and that's against TRU. Yeah, TRU. They are a team that is hoping that Moonlight Esports might make a small overstep, might make a small blunder that they can capitalize. And Superman, a little overzealous for that long-range fight, ends up giving away that avenue to safety. Ay. It's problematic now. Although they have close quarter support. They have the glue walls to support Superman. They're able to get Superman back on his feet, and TRU, the same problems that plagued them for the past few maps continues to plague them so far, which is they're not able to get a team fight under their bag. And every single time you ask, TRU are ripped apart by not only one, but two teams. This time, it's the last remaining member of ALE. Alright, that's a risk that I assume that they might be willing to take. And that's enabled one team to get that squad wipe. So, a decent start there. Although a couple of these teams are going to be at that beckoning call where timing is going to be everything. A team like S5 who won the first map purely off timing and positioning, they're looking to do the exact same.
They are trying to at least look a little better, if not same. Let's see if they are going to do better or no. But talking about circle now, all the teams are left outside the circle. They are they are on the move. And Sanura Gaming Esports, well, they also have to make sure that they are surviving a little, but as soon as they have to go for the aim duels, they are losing against the teams like Vbros, Anam Lama Esports. They have fought against big names. That is what we have witnessed for the day. Today is league stage, group A versus B, and now it is the gatekeeping opportunity for Moonlight, and they're going to make most use of it. But
nice
Papa, what a crispy shot!
Alright, I don't think I even saw a pixel of Tapa's head there, and I'm surprised that he managed to make that land. Look at S5 Lollipop's position. He had a decent position to maybe make that backstab work, but I think he's relying on numbers and team play to be the better call. And he heads over to the other side to revive his teammate. SE, they have a brilliant opportunity to gatekeep Moonlight Esports. And Moonlight Esports, a very systematic push. You can see these blue walls are enabling them to take a step after one step, and they're making it a marathon run to a mile of victory. Right now, SE positioning not the best. They're out in the open as Glue Walls that tries to give them cover, and Supreme is doing supreme work from the other end. Superman alongside Arjun now gonna be on the push. They've tried to get on top of the solar panels, and that's decent cover if you're trying to play the shotgun game. Arjun though can't be outdone, whips out the shotgun yet again, and he whips out the biggest play that he needed to make. Close range, he's making the movements, he's making the plays, he's making the time work in his favor, and Arjun just wipes SE off the server. S5, they sniff blood, they're in vicinity to gatekeep this team on their way into the circle, although they themselves aren't in that great of a spot. A lot of teams having numbers now, Tanya, and I feel like that should be the difference maker.
Sure, that is going to be one of the key factors about how many players are going to survive in each team. Look at Vbros near Malaysia. They have got the biggest compound. Circle is still inclusive with the massive, not massive, but sure, inclusive of Malaysia, and Vbros are going to enter it gradually. Are they going to take down Lone Wolves and then they are going to enter, or first they are going to make a move and then do everything unplanned? Let's see how everything is going to pan out, because two players are trying to do something against Street Fudge. They are not allowing them to enter the circle. On the course, Nepstars have got 3 frags already. They have got vehicles under their control, and they are also using the Misha ability to avoid the damage. Now we have spotted Chrono. Now that is the Chrono ability that we are spotting as well. We have witnessed Misha coming in. We have spotted Skylar joining in. To no surprise, there's nothing unique happening here, because the most unique is Albane map, and who believe the players are trying to do the best of what they can, and Nepstars are now starting to struggle. Mamba is down on the knees. Will he be resurrected? No. Poison is going to poison him all the way through with the long range weapon.
Yep. Don't worry about which Mamba, ladies and gentlemen. You have one always on the server, and we'll have one coming forth soon. So you'll have your friendly faces of Free Fire to greet you yet again. And something that's not being so friendly are the teams that set early real estate, right? With this kind of an early rotation, Vbros are lining themselves up for having a really good game. They have the biggest compound that's in the circle so far in Malaysia, and this is the compound that I think you were eyeing specifically, Tanya. So they've taken heed to your notice, and High Voltage are just being patient on the other end. This could be another massive fight. They were in 10 kills before, now they're on the verge of hitting 14. This is donkey numbers, Tanya, that nobody can make sense out of. Because soon, they're gonna have a massive lead that people are gonna find hard to overcome, and Stalker is just extending that advantage. High Voltage though, good job on the rebuttal. They're on 9 kills of their own, and they are the only ones who can pose any kind of threat to Webro so far. Although the last remaining member of ALE is trying to duke it off against Mamba, and if Mamba is able to get that frag, he might have himself a death box to then loot him a couple of guns, maybe a nade out of. Although that's something that might not happen considering Anam's position.
Anam has got the weapon that you have been asking for. He has the grenade launcher in his hand. Now that could be destructive if at all he is able to use it at the exact position where he is able to hear the footwork and use it. But on the counter, he is also facing the wrath of grenades. Well, Webro's trying to push in against High Voltage. They also are into the double-digit club. High Voltage with 10 frags already. Plasma, we are seeing Charge Buster in the hands of Lure here. 3 teams, 8 players, and 15 frags for Webros closing in towards Booyah. Anam is trying to survive for as much as possible to get that second position because he knows, he is aware he's the last man standing. He is not going to be able to fight 1v3, 1v4. All he wants to do is secure the second position. Talking about High Voltage, now each and every player is pushed towards the center of the circle as the zone shrinks in. Glue all to the cover, so is the fence. Grenade still being exchanged, and Dragog and his grenade. Dragog never misses any grenade that he pops in.
Yep, and he's had quite a bit in his back pocket. They push inside the compound, and High Voltage saw this coming from a mile away. They were waiting, they were patient, and they might win out this trade. Although Supreme is here to make all the difference. The revive on top of that glue wall might just be what saves them a little skin here, Webros. And that's the same thing that High Voltage are trying to pull off, but Drago just doesn't see no for an answer. He gets the double, and this is 19 kills on Webros. They are just one away from hitting the 20, and Aman's gonna be the casualty. 20 kills on the first time that we get to see Alpine, and Webros have just blown the roof on this new house.
It is supreme supremacy yet again. We are going to witness him on the MVP cards. They were just one away from 20 frags. Now, that
They
don't
did
you
hit
think
20
that
though.
is- They did hit, because what I exactly saw was Rohit was taken down by the zone. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Sure, it was
he?
a dub. It was a total of 20 frags and 12 points coming in with the Booyah bagging team.
God.
Well, we talked about a while ago after the second map of Kalahari. This team looks pretty dominant. This team looks very good without any Booyah, and here comes the U-turn. They are taking frags and also the Booyahs. So now what is left for other teams?
Dude, what are we seeing? I can't wait to see that scoreboard, because this is just gonna be lit. It's been a while since I've seen a team like this. You know, the only team that even is coming to my head when we talk about such a dominant performance is, I think, Team Elite back in Pro League of 21, where they actually lost out by 1 or 2 points against TSM or some other team back then. But yeah, Team Elite throughout the league stage had such a dominant showing, and right now, Webros are giving me the Elite vibes, and oh boy, this is a day to remember. I think they've made one for the history books. Not only the first time that we got to see Alpine, but the first team to absolutely mop the floor with everybody on the server on this new map. They've made it their turf.
I don't know, it was their ground, it was their turf, it was their victory, it was their frags. It was all about Webros and the map of Alpine, and I do believe they practiced it very nicely and wisely to convert it, because at one point of time, if at all the last man standing would not have used those glue walls to resurrect the teammates, he was successfully able to revive his teammates in no time, and one player pushing it in when the revival pattern was also running on the side of High Voltage, which was denied, going in with the shotgun right in front of the face, and High Voltage down the drain. No more voltage were functioning then. It was all about Anam, the last man standing. We did not see that grenade launcher gameplay though, but I don't think that was a miss here. When we get to see
sure,
20
no.
frags and a Booyah, everything gets covered.
Yeah, I think with 20 frags, that's explosive enough, Tanya. You turn nades in there, that's another story altogether. And that, at least Draco, he put on a show for us at the end, right? He got that double knock with the nade. He opened things up for his team, and that's what created the opening. With this being a result that we were teasing throughout Alpine from since minute 1, let me remind you, is when we bros took it hot to the action. They didn't put brakes for anything coming their way, and they just enjoyed the entire journey, if I'm to be honest here, as that entire concept of now reviving your teammates have gotten a sense of unparalleled confidence on some of these players, and yeah, they just don't take no for an answer, do they?
They shouldn't as well. They are not ready to take. But I do like the way high voltage, again, trying to pick up the pace, surviving until top 3. Anam, if at all Anam was not revived by the last man standing from the side of Anam Lama Esports, they couldn't have made it until top 3. And they had to make sure that they continued the journey of being in top 3. Though they have managed to do it into the first half of the day, still the remaining half is yet to happen, is yet to continue, and that is also going to be a table turner without a doubt. And I am also going to see what is next Alpine going to deliver us. But what we are going to talk about is what we are already delivered with. We bros going for the crash landing, and they were also able to get those early frags. Supreme with a very quick triple.
Double nade as well, dude. That is just beautiful stuff. It started off in this fashion, Tanya. Just saying, this is the statement that we bros walked into Alpine with. They were able to revive the team. They were able to get everybody back up on their feet, rich with loot, because nobody else was in that vicinity to contest them. They never stopped. And a lot of teams that went for such early action, you could see that risk reward truly pan out, right? Like, look at Back for Mercy, for example. A team that's looked decent throughout the day, but has been plagued with a couple of unfortunate circumstances. Yeah, this map wasn't any sweeter for them whatsoever. This last circle though, Tanya, it's continued the trend of open circles throughout the day. The entirety of the first rotation, the first 4 maps that we've gone to witness of this Nepal championship, all the circles have been very, very out in the open and have been between points of interest rather than in one point of interest alone. Which I think once that story changes, the dynamic changes, right? Then it's going to be the early rotators and the team that actually have the early real estate that have much more of an advantage walking into those fights. So far, I'd say it's been the game of the circles that's decided the victors rather than the team making a very educated guess and is able to bank on it for success. Supreme, a double MVP on day 1. Dude, we're getting to see so many records being broken that at this point I'm wondering if it's a joke.
Without a doubt, well, 7 frags already and 32 massive points, and that is going to create a huge buffer. Now there's no second opinion where they are not going to gain that. Talking about high voltage here, they were able to close in towards double digit club, survive until top 2, indeed. So top 3, the last man from Anam Lama Esports takes away the 9 pointers for the placements and 2 frag points. He could have delivered a little bit of extra damage, if at all. He would have started functioning a little early with the grenade launcher, but he wanted to make sure to gain those 9 points, and those were important as well. Talking about Moonlight Esports, they also did not deny. They also made sure of to pick those fights as and when required. They were also trying to gatekeep, and now talking about total standings, 30 points of lead for V Bros.
Christ, the hell. Okay, so that's okay. That in of itself mind-boggling, alright? Now let's sweep that under the rug. We have ALE, MLE contesting on equal pegging, both on 57 points respectively. And then, as we move down the order, we have High Voltage on 50 and we have S5. Both these teams looking pretty nice when it comes to the ability for them to take fights on a very, very close stance. So there is no sense of comfort here essentially, and if any of these teams in the top 5 is able to replicate something along the lines of Webro's performance here in Alpine, we could get to see a lot of these gigantic performances add up to a very stacked leaderboard where we have some teams who are absolutely killing it and some teams who aren't, which is a contrasting change to how we started the day. And ladies and gentlemen, we've had a very good opening segment, but for the next 4 maps and for another appearance of Malpine, it's going to be Mamba and Mridul who are going to take you through that amazing journey while me and Tanya enjoy it from the nosebleed. So do grab a refreshing drink, do grab a popcorn, because this second rotation, it is to die for, because the action just doesn't stop here at the Nepal Championship.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Free Fire Nepal Championship. My name is Ranjit Mohammed Senior Patel. Alongside me is joining Mridul Kapoor. Mridul, first of all, welcome to the show, and I hope you can have a lot of fun. Of course, the matches have been very interesting. A lot of changes, a lot of new things coming along, and a lot of action. But we'll talk about all of that. But let me come to you first and ask you how you're doing.
Well, thank you so much for the warm welcome, Mamba. I'm really good and I'm really fine right now, as we have been seeing a lot of action today on the Free Fire Nepal Championship day number 1. Well, to talk about the show, we bros just did what we wanted from them. 2 games back-to-back, 2 back-to-back great booyahs, and that's an opening for the show.
Well, absolutely, no doubt about that. We'll have a look at the current standings as well, but here's the thing, right? All these teams have absolutely grinded their way through. More than 5,000 teams participating in the open qualifiers and, of course, proving their worth when they dropped by a year. But talking about V-Bros, right? 2 booyahs back-to-back, 51 kills and 87 points. They're in a different league altogether at this point, because you look at the first 2 teams, right? As a matter of fact, the first 3 teams, V-Bros with a 30-point lead compared to the second and the third team. That goes on to show the sort of domination they've had.
Right. Well, to talk about all the domination that they provided today, we also need to talk about MLE. We have seen how much they performed consistently throughout the 5 games, and that is one of the main key reasons that they're there in the top 3 standings. Well, to talk about the schedule for the day, now 4 games are left with us. That is Bermuda, Kalahari, Purgatory, Alpine as game 5, 6, 7 and 8 respectively, Mamba.
Oh, absolutely. And Alpine is a new map which has been introduced to the circuit, and Nepal happens to be the first region which is going to have 8 games instead of the standard 6 that we've been using so far. And it's incredible to watch this, because I still remember early days of Free Fire, we started off with 4 games a day, and then we moved on to 6, and now we're here at 8 games a day, and of course 4 maps in total. So I really like where they're going with it, and it's just going to add a new layer of complexity to all these teams trying to go out and perform. But I'm really excited to see what these teams have in store for us, at least with regards to Alpine, because you look at all the other maps in the world, right? You have Bermuda, Purgatory, Kalahari. We've seen all these 3 maps for quite a while now, and teams more or less have I wouldn't say they've saturated, but more or less they have, let's be honest. And there are not a lot of new things that we're seeing, but of course a lot of new balances have come in as well. So we'll talk about all of that, but for now we'll move on into the game. We have the flight path, which again, Free Fire has a pretty basic flight path more often than not, unless of course it's an extreme flight path going towards either one direction on the map. But for now, it's going to go through the center. Be must like this trip, of course, one of those areas which is not so happening, but is a good place to start off in, because then your rotations become really easy.
Well, to start off with the show warmers right now, that is V-Bros. 2 games back-to-back and 87 points on the board. Yes, they are going towards Cutlass-Nova and Observatory, where Drago GRG is on a split drop. To talk about the other teams, we also have Team SE and Team LW. Right now, they might engage in an initial fight, as we saw previously too, that on the Rimnam village, we saw a 1v1 battle, and once again, it is going to happen as both the teams are on the same drops. And yes, SE against Team LW. Rimnam Village, the drop it is Group A versus B that we are witnessing right now. Sanura Gaming Esports right now. Less amount of loot added, as it is just the start, but Chandra Surya already getting a pick with the Scar, and that's an opening. That's the first blood of the match as Kia Chal completes a kill on Team Nepstar Esports.
Oh, absolutely, but they're going at it right now, trying to make sure that they have that early advantage. The chrono kill is being popped out as well, but Unknown is going to get taken down, along with Simons coming in from behind, trying to get the trade flag, which is so important. But NES trying to survive, trying to hold on. They've already lost a player, of course, which they can revive. And again, this is one more layer of complexity which has been added to the game, right? Because the resurrection mechanic wasn't available for the longest time. And by the way, Mamba that OG was talking about, my name is Mamba as well. That's the reason I actually had to add SR, because Mamba's senior. And it turns out Mamba is a more common name than the 14-year-old me would have thought. But regardless, NES off to a flying start. Sure, they've lost out on a player, but they've managed to get 2 kills. So positive trade coming out. And at the same time, they can revive the player.
Well, as we talked about, Mamba, that initial openings and initial pickings for your team has always turned out bad when you pick up fights. And if you lose 1 or 2 the other players, then it's a big backlash for you. Right now, we talk about one elimination, and that's Team Chandrasurya out of the game. As we now witness Navstar Esports, they have 3 kills with them. And yes, NES Pikachu has got that revival. Now he's back to the game, and we move forward from the mill drop towards the game.
Oh, absolutely, but Chandra Surya being eliminated that early is rather unfortunate for them. I can tell you that, because being eliminated this early in the game means that you don't get any points. You could have played it safe, sure, but when you go on and take these fights early on, you're taking a massive risk. If you win the fight, of course, you get this early advantage, which gives you momentum to sort of roll down and build up more points in the match. But at the same time, it is a double-edged sword. So if you get taken down, if you get eliminated from the server, then for the next 18 minutes, you're going to be waiting it out. Ooh, look at that, though. Dikshan with a quick 180. That was rather interesting, but he's going to get taken down as well. So a quick trade coming in, which is really great to see, because teams have now started to make sure that they have the trade potential all the time. But Beck for Mercy wanted to strike back in the meantime. Sahil as well, finding a trade for himself. So ALE, Anam Lama Esports coming out on top of this one.
You know, right now discussing all the facts that they have, the experience that Anam Lama Esports has, and the experience coming into the play. That's a squad wipe, and on the 11th position, we see one more team going out of the game. Now, talking about a fight that started from the game start, and now it's still going on near the Rimnam village, where the zone is also coming in. Blue zone, it will give you damage, but not so much that you still want to exit the city. You still want to loot, and there's a third party incoming, and that's Team HV for you.
Oh, absolutely, but Neon, in the meantime, is going to be on the rotation. You talk about Ram as well. So Lone Wolves have been looking pretty promising. I've been reading the notes as well, right? Because, of course, it's a new region for us, so to speak, because sure, we've seen some of these teams which have been around for quite some time. If you talk about V-Bros, they're one of the strongest contestants in the lobby. You talk about T2K, they have a new lineup, sure, but that's been one of those teams which has stood out as well. So, of course, a lot of experience in the region, but we talk about HV for now. They have found themselves a kill, but that's all they're going to have for now.
Indeed, Mamba, you talk about KM Brotherhood, Tonde Gamers. These were also the teams that existed in the scene. Now, they might have a new name, but they have the same players that we witness forward for. High Voltage, Tonde Gamers, Bitex Esports, KM Brotherhood. So these are the teams we are looking forward to, and V-Bros. Some of the top contending players in the Nepal region are in this team, and the deadly duo, as we all know. Drago Giaji coming up with Rohit. That's the duo you need to look out for always. Whereas HV and now Team LW are also facing the blue zone damage. Right now, it's a trap for Team LW as he is caught up in front of 2 teams. Here comes Team MLE going up against Sripach as it's a fight on the city.
Yep, but for now, Lollipop in the meantime is going to try and find a pick for himself, but he's just giving out suppressing fire, making sure that his team has a better shot to take. Push in the meantime, just waiting it out behind the glue wall. Can he find any information? That is the question. Tamang as well, just surviving behind this rock, but he's not going to live for long if he stays here because it does not have any glue walls to work with. He will get taken down, and that is exactly what happens. Does not have a lot of cover to work with either. And it's a tricky position to be in, especially when you know for a fact. Sure, you might have the TPP advantage, but at the same time, the moment you pop your head out, you're going to get taken down.
Exactly, and that's what is happening in this mid-range fight. You see Sudhir, always he's looking forward to that single point of view, and here comes Superman. OMG, just 4 to 5 shots, and Lollipop gets confirmed. That's a pick that the team MLE needed, and now Moonlight Esports, they're straightforward barging in towards Sripach. That's a good decision from one of the players from the team Sripach, as Holy is now in a bad situation. 3 players straightforward coming up onto him as Sudhir comes in for a 1v1. There's a backup for him, gets a knock on Holy, and that's a complete by Superman.
Well, it's been a rather quick fight. If you look at the amount of players which have been eliminated, right? I didn't expect the first day to be this aggressive. Usually teams on the first day like to take it slow, but not these boys. These players want to go out there, take fights head on, and go all guns blazing, which I love absolutely, because a lot the more the action, more fun it is to cast, and of course build these storylines as well. But Raza is in a tricky position. Not just tricky, as a matter of fact, he's in a precarious position, because the moment he tries to get out of there, Dikshan is going to open fire, and he needs to get out of there. He needs to get inside the zone, otherwise he's going to lose out on HP. And for now, Dikshant is just going to wait it out. The question is, how are they going to react to this?
Exactly, because right now Dikshant is that one key player for the team who is just staying outside the zone, and while someone is providing him the cover. Anam Lama Esports, even if they do not pick up this fight, that's a plus point for them. But yes, Dikshant will suffer. That's a loss that Anam Lama Esports will have to face. 4 kills for him, as now Soman will tag the enemy player for himself as he gets a knock. That's a knock from the side of Anam Lama Esports. Mukta, oh, sorry for that. That's NGXTHA getting a knock on the enemy team. Raza getting knocked out by the play zone, and another fight beginning up between Team HV and vBros.
Well, someone in the meantime is going to be rotating along with his teammate, and now I believe mid game is going to be a little more slow because of the amount of eliminations we've seen in the early half of the game, or at least in the early 5 minutes of the game. The question over here is, do we see that momentum being carried on? Because I still remember this was a year and a half ago. There was this match which was, I think it was in Kalahari. Yes, it was on Kalahari, and it was done and dusted within 14 minutes, and teams just went all guns blazing. Of course, we're not going to see it, but a man can only hope. A man can only dream. In the meantime, talk about high voltage. That 2 revivals come in, and they're looking pretty strong right now because they have 3 kills. They have 3 points for themselves. At the same time, they have all the players alive, which is a great thing because, sure, we're going to play the long game. You've had kills. All you need to do now is survive, and eventually, of course, in the last 2 zones, you will have that opportunity to pick those fights and get a couple of more points for yourselves. And in the meantime, if you survive long enough, you might as well win the match.
Indeed, Mama, because right now only one line fits exactly to this game. Go hard or go home. Right now, it's a 30-point difference for the first position, whereas vBros have been performing consistently for the first 4 matches. Now, it's like just get those points of the day number 1. You need to go, you need to get those kills, because the difference made by vBros is because of the 19 kills, sorry for that, 20 kills that they got on the map number 4, and that is how you need to focus on those kills, and that is why these teams have been proving and going bombarding. ALE Sahil right now gets a kill confirmation on S5 Lollipop as the next circle also starts to close in.
Well, look at this though, the amount of aggression you're seeing, right? And the teams are rotating as well. They don't want to play on the edge. Sure, we have 2 teams waiting it out, but apart from that, everybody wants to play towards the center, which is a great shift in the meta. And playing along the riverside and playing between Plantation and Riverside is, again, pretty tricky, especially with the water body that's there, right? But here's the thing. If you play your cards right, it's one of the best positions to be in as well, because you have the high ground advantage. You can push in if you want to, and nobody can push you because they'll have to swim, and that they can't do.
Indeed. Right now, looking forward to Team Kukuri Esports. They have been patient throughout the game, whereas all the teams have been looking forward to kills. This team has just been focusing on rotation edge to edge. Right now, they also decide to move forward to the next zone as Anam Lama Esports engages in a fight. Team S5 only gets a kill confirmation on ALE Dikshant as Sahil and Suman will now bombard in and provide the cover fire to his teammate. Okay, 11 kills all set for the team. They need to go forward to the zone as they're still not inside that, and more 19 seconds left. On the riverside, you see the bridge getting perfectly covered up by Team Moonlight Esports, as now they have a great upper edge over all those teams. A good center circle point, and indeed fight for.
Absolutely, but for now, 8 teams, 27 players, the game is going to get slowed down. I did mention that the mid game might get slowed down because of the early eliminations that we've had, but teams again are going to make sure that they're going to use all these new mechanics which have been introduced to the game. And talking about Drago, look at him. He's so much in the open, right? I'm not quite sure what the idea is over there, because the moment he gets engaged, he's going to have a tough time, and while he's trying to get some information, he needs to be wary of the fact that he can be taken down. And they have a lot of glue walls to work with, so that's not a concern, but I would rather not risk it, because these players are some of the snappiest players I've seen, some of the best players I've seen mechanically, and they can take you down in the blink of an eye. But in the meantime, we do have fights coming in. Robin trying to make sure he gets a pick, but not being able to, which is unfortunate, but the nades being popped, and look at that though, finally getting a kill with the nade.
That was a kill we looked out for. rebroz Esports are now coming in back with the game. As we already saw, Anam Lama Esports picking up those kills. Now it's rebroz Esports taking in the charge. Last 4 to 5 squads surviving. It's a whole of all the 4 players surviving for Team rebroz Esports, as now they are on fire. Team SE is quite close to them as they have spotted Zion on the left hand side, and Napestar Esports is trying all their best to come inside the circle, but Team KKR are stopping them wonderfully.
Oh, they are stopping them wonderfully, no doubt about that. But Simons has a kill along with Mamba, and Unknown Pikachu is struggling short, no doubt about that. But he had been taken down as well early on, and he has been revived. So the great thing is that they have all the players alive as well, but 6 teams, 21 players now, because one of them have been eliminated. WB is going to try and fight back, but they do have a decent amount of kills, so all they need to do is stay alive now. That's it, just get in the top 3. You'll have a lot of points to work with, and you already have the kills, so you have nothing to worry about.
Definitely, and now Drago Giagi going in for a revival for Stalker. Once again, the team is all set with all the 4 players. Yes, there's the play zone warning. The 4th circle has started to close in. 2 teams are still outside the zone. And Napestar Esports, they do realize, even if they were engaging in a fight, the other team has also decided to go inside the circle. Simon's already on the upfront, going by the foot. He has decided to just come back on the side of the front forward team. And Lure going for a lurking part as Team Emily still have the perfect start. Oh my god, Superman, he gets a kill confirmation. And MLE, nowhere to be stopped.
But Drago in the meantime is going to get taken down. Supreme trying to push in. He does have the product to work with, but can he find the pick? That is the question. He needs to revive his teammate as well, but does not have enough time. The zone's closing in. Rohit in the meantime is going to go around the corner. He needs to pick that fight. He does, as a matter of fact. He picks up players off as well. Drago, while he has been taken down, he might just get finished over the regardless. He's going to get revived. Rohit, look at him being destroyed. He's still alive. Somehow manages to find 2 kills. As a matter of fact, 1 knock and a kill. God, he's still alive. Somehow making sure that his team survives, and of course has the upper hand as well. But rebroz, they've been bullying the opposition. Absolutely bullying the opposition, and once again, they're looking like they're in the driver's seat to walk away with the booyah.
Well, now once again above those 10 kills, as now Team rebroz just damaging all the northern side in this end zone. Now it's MLE going up against rebroz, whereas HV, the zone had a backlash on them. 3 of their players just got finished in that blue zone, and now it's Stalker already spotted one of the players behind that blue wall, and it's now the Moko ability that will come to the play for him.
Oh, absolutely, but Drago in the meantime, look at him. A lot of the pressing fire is giving out, right? And here's the thing. This turned out against high voltage if you look at the zone, right? Because sure, they had the upper ground advantage, but now they have to jump into the water, which they can't do. They really can't afford it. But Subhash in the meantime is trying to fight back. Arjun will get taken down, and high voltage is going to be eliminated over 2 teams, 7 players. A 3v4 fight. Can they win this? Of course they will, because they have the ground, and the opposition needs to drop into the water. rebroz once again, perfect rotation, perfect execution, great communication. And at the end of the day, a lot of kills to work with, and this is a force to be reckoned with, because 17 kills, and they want more. They absolutely want more, but Sudhir does not want to take that kill away. So he will make sure that he gets eliminated to the zone so that he denies the point. But rebroz with 3 wins, that's insane. Absolute insanity over there. Insane.
These guys are unstoppable. A hat-trick indeed. Game number 3, game number 4, game number 5, improving game by game. And now in the map of Bermuda, well, we did have a short break, but it was not a break for rebroz, as now they are not needing it. They are not requiring it. What an amazing game on the map of Bermuda, and getting those 17 kills. It is the man indeed, Supreme, once again playing for his team.
True, and again, I think we have to talk about rebroz over here, because the way they played, right? Having 2 back-to-back booyahs, as a matter of fact, getting a hat-trick is no easy task, especially when you're going up against teams of this caliber. Because let's talk about the format for a second, right? You've had open qualifiers where the top 18 teams came. As a matter of fact, sorry, the top 12 teams came because 6 were invited, right? It's not easy to go up against these teams because when you have thousands and thousands of teams being registered, playing the tournament, and these are some of the finest players out there. Because first, sure, if you're playing the game casually, half the time you're not even aware about a tournament happening. But when you are, you're trying really hard, and they get filtered every single step of the way. And to dominate them, I do feel like we might have a world-level contender over here in VBros.
Well, yes, exactly. VBros right now proving all their strategies and how they have built up for each and every match. We saw how they performed in the map of Purgatory, Alpine map, a new map getting introduced to the Free Fire competitive indeed, whereas we have 8 maps for the day. Indeed, it's a tiring day for players, for the casters, for each and everyone here. But when you're playing a game like Free Fire, it's the battle royale. The stories need to be written and need to perform for the country. If you have to become the best, if you need the time to shine, yes, this is the perfect time where the Nepal Championship and the players are proving for themselves.
True, no doubt about that, but we'll have a look at the replays as well to see what happened in the matchup. And High Voltage wanted to take those fights initially, of course, and they did win the fights as well. But we saw some early eliminations, which again, you always mention this, right? It's a double-edged sword, Mridul. It's not easy to win those fights, but if you do, that's a massive advantage. But the question is, do you want to take that big of a risk that early in the match?
Mm-hmm. Indeed, that's one of the things that we discussed too, right? As soon as the match started, it was a risk by the Napstar Esports to engage in a fight against Chandra Surya. But indeed, they knew that you have a thing known as revival, and those risks getting picked up by each and every team, that worked out for VBros. Stalker got revived 3 times on that kill feed, but still, the main thing why he was revived each and every time was just because of his sniper. Look at that gameplay. We saw a headshot coming in on the last kill, and that was Stalker, the man himself.
Oh, absolutely. And I did mention that when you're playing on top of the dam, right? It's a great position to be in. You have high ground. Correct. There's water all around you. Nobody can push you. Mm-hmm. Imagine the horror if the zone was not on VBros, but on the other team. But let's talk about the MVP over here. Drago, 4 kills, 4 assists, 1900 damage, 5 headshots, and 1 revival member. Here's the thing. When you're creating impact of this sort, right? You have 4 kills, 4 assists, a lot of damage, and you manage to revive your teammate. I think you deserve the MVP, no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm. And indeed, Drago Giaji is one of those prodigies, Mamba, where we know how he has been performing throughout the scene, how he has been performing for the Nepal region, and even representing his region in the Indian region too. Well, now you have a specific region for your country, and to present yourself there with some banger performances, that is Team VBros for you. 12 placement points, 17 kills in this game, and now a lead that they had of 30 points, once again going and making some more marks on the overall points table.
Yeah, no, Nepal was clubbed with India as far as I remember back in the day, but now, of course, you have your own tournaments, you have your own region.
Right.
And it's just great to see because this region has been cultivated over the years. The players carry a lot of passion, and it's good to see that they have this opportunity to come out here and prove themselves, and VBros are grabbing it by both the hands because 116 points in 5 games is unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. I still remember teams would not be able to cross 100 points with 6 games as well. But 68 kills, 116 points, 3 booyahs. I think they're sorted for the day. They don't need to worry about anything else over here.
Exactly. The only way that they have made this difference, Mama, is because of the kills they have been doing in each and every game. For the past 2 games, they have been getting 15 plus kills. One game they had 20 kills, and another game they have 17 kills. 68 kills out of those, like 116 points, or the amount of points that they have got on the board. It is just because of the kills that they have got. Placement, yes, 3 booyahs back to back. What more you want from them?
4 booyahs? 5 booyahs? I don't know, man. I think after the point when you have 3, you want more. And
Right.
let's be honest, everybody
The
wants
hunger
more,
never
but
stops.
it's not that easy.
Yeah.
It never stops. But the next map is going to be Kalahari, which we will talk about in just a bit. But going back to the last one, right? I think Vibros absolutely dominated everyone. High Voltage took a risk, a massive risk, as a matter of fact. It just didn't work out for them. Unfortunate, but I really like the thought process behind it. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, jumping into Kalahari over here, the plane path once again fairly default. Fairly normal. We'll see if anybody wants to jump into the blue zone. A lot of loot to be found over there. And look at that, we do have a hot truck coming up.
Well, yes, exactly. A lot of the teams, as now we see Mammoth right now having the blue tier loot. It is going to be Team Chandrasurya with Team LW choosing the drop, whereas Vibros once again on their usual drop of Refinery. Well, as we know from the Indian scene too, Mamba, that the one who controls the refinery, the one who controls the center of the map on Kalahari is having one of the most important leads. But right now, focusing once again towards his initial fight, Chandrasurya gets engaged with Luffy and he gets a knock by the fist damage. Neon gets a knock on Sumit and new kill leader already coming up for Team LW. 4 kill and it's a vibe. Chandrasurya once again. That's brutal. 2 games back to back and they are nowhere to be seen now on the map of Kalahari.
That's good night for them, but hey, the good thing is they'll have 18 minutes to prepare for the next game. But,
Indeed.
oh well, it is what it is. You can't help it, right? And I did mention we might see a hot drop at Mammoth because of the blue zone, which again is the highest high reward scenario because if you get that advantage early on, you have all the loot in the world, you can start pushing teams. And you want to keep up at that speed, right? Because that's the only advantage you have. You have high loot in less time, and you can absolutely push the opposition. But in the meantime, Neon is going to come here and try and revive his teammate. Yes, the blue wall has been deployed. He will get revived. Luffy barely hanging on to his life. Needs to heal up. Because yeah, indeed he does. And using the inhaler to walk away. And I think LW is in a good position right now. Lone Wolves are not going to struggle because everybody else has left the area. Sure, they might be able to pick a fight, but I think for now they're okay. They're in a decent position.
Well, also to talk about Team LW, as soon as the fight finished for Team Lone Wolves, we thought it was done, it was over, but no. There's one more team on Mammoth, and the blue tier loot, yes, exactly, high risk equals the high reward, whereas now Team Lone Wolves need to fight against Team True, and they're already barging in on them. That's a good split up for them as they are also having a good height advantage, and Topi, a bad move from his side as now he faces it. He faces the punches on his head, and with that, a triple kill for Neon.
That's unfortunate. I'll be honest. If somebody was punching me to death in the game, I'd be fuming. Because, look, that's just one way of saying that, hey man, I'm way better than you are and you have no business being on the server. At least that's how I'd interpret it, but of course these are professional players. A lot more balanced than we are, a lot more hinged than we are. And that's the reason why they're on the server. We're not, we're on the desk. Of course we try to have fun with this, right, bro?
Well, yeah, exactly. When you need to talk about the UAV drone, yes, it was launched by the enemy teams and by Team Vibros to look forward towards all the areas that they have to contest right now. Drago is right now really far away from the team, whereas he's also protecting another city for the team if they really need to rotate for the next zone. Because we are now seeing a western shift to for the next zone, whereas Team LW still hasn't wiped out the last 2 kills surviving from Team True. And now they have another contestant for them. That's Team Nepstar Esports. What is happening with them? Once they finish a fight, another team comes in. Now they finish a fight, another team dives in. And that's a knock on Neon. Nepstar Esports has now barged in and gave their statement.
Rom is going to be pushing up. His teammate has been eliminated, which will get revived. Neon had 3 kills, and of course he's going to be brought back to life, which is great because now they have kills. They have all the players surviving. Neon, in the meantime, just surfing through the air, casually skiing in the air. But of course, he will be able to get a lot of information for the team, which is great because a lot of times when you revive your teammate, he has a nice area view of what's going on. There are any rotations happening. In the meantime, Luri, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce that name, but I guess we will just stick to Larry for now. and let's see what he does. 3 teams at Mammoth. Could be a lot of fights. Could be a lot of damage being dealt, but Lone Wolves are the top fraggers in the server right now.
Indeed. Talk about fourth parties, talk about third parties. Well, now you have a fifth party incoming from Team High Voltage as they have spotted Neon, and that's a dead wipe on him. Lurie gets a kill confirmation. That's the first elimination for Team High Voltage, and now they have the perfect spot. That's the skeleton that you need to acquire to have a height advantage. Now you get that ridge for your side, and you have eyes on 2 of the teams that are downwards towards the ridge. ALE, MJXTHA gets a knock on S5, and Team True, that's a sniper kill. MA2B doing the justice and getting the kill confirmation for S5.
Push. In the meantime, he's going to try and push up, but Dikshan is going to be on the flank. Look at that, though. He might just be able to find that kill. The question is, has he been spotted? I'm not sure, but he is on a wonderful flank with that Tamang. In the meantime, he's trying to push away, but Dikshan is going to find a pick for himself. Information has been relayed, and that was a wonderful flank coming in from him. Lollipop is going to try and fall back, make sure that his back stays clear, his 6th stays clear, but in the meantime, Subash has been revived. He has been resurrected. Now, only first team has been taken down by Tamang and Kush. Trying the best to stay alive. Kush sandwiching himself between the blue walls. The question is, can he stay alive long? Nope, that is not going to happen. Inside will take him down.
OMG, that's not what we wanted. That is what now is happening as MLE Superman gets a kill confirmation on Team B4M. S5, only 1 player surviving, and that's a bad situation for Shripach. Yes, that's the dead. That is how they are going to be completed. Out on the 11th position, Shripach have been eliminated. ALE Suman gets a revival on MGXTHA. Ram revives 2 of his teammates as most of the squads are coming back to the game. But the squads, if all of the 4 players are done, yes, you have been eliminated for the end of this game. MLE right now focusing on going towards the next zone as Shrunk gets a kill confirmation on Team TRU. There's a launch pad ready to go to the next zone.
Oh, absolutely, but for now, Reza is going to be waiting down inside the tent. Look at Dooley, the position that he's in has so much information to work with. He could pick a fight if he wants, but I do believe for now he's just going to wait it out because he doesn't want to be the one initiating and get taken down on top, because once he gets taken down on, there's no way he's going to be revived. Ava on the rotation, Chibi in the meantime, not quite there, he's pushing, he will push in, and they do try his best. Finish those kills off, but now we're not going to see any fights whatsoever. Once again, early fights coming in, a lot of aggression in the first 5 minutes. Mid-game, rather slow. And towards the end of the match, again, we see quite a few fights coming in. But this is when most of the teammates get revived. You try and recollect, try and loot out again, and then pick the fights.
Exactly, because right now, Mamba, from the previous game, we have been also witnessing how exactly the game flow goes. You need to focus on the initial pack-up of fights, an initial bunch that we see 15 to 20 players getting eliminated. Then it's a time where all the players who are still remaining, even if 1 player is surviving from your squad, he's giving revival to 1, 2 players, 3 players, and he's coming back with his team. Then you get a time frame of around 2 or 3 minutes. You have to rotate for the 3rd or the 4th zone where it will decide your fate. And then you also need to loot for your team. So it's a big whole set right now, a whole pack of duties that the teams need to spend time with. Whereas right now Team True is also rotating for the next zone. They need to get the best spot. But if you talk about the best spot, that's V-Bros for you, already in the zone center. And with a great amount of split, all the 4 players having those height advantages standing forward with them. KKR on the edge of the zone, yes, they are near the serve.
Rabin, in the meantime, is going to get on top of the sub. Just wait it out. And, you know, when mid-game gets so slow, Mridul, this is when teams start recollecting themselves. But at the same time, this is when you can come up with some really nice T-strats. If you want to go in for rotation, you want to rotate in early. But for now, we're going to see a fight on top of the sub, which is pretty interesting because this is the last place on the map. I would have expected a fight mid-game. But, well, I guess we'll get to see this.
Right now, the sub is also one of the spots where we are going to see a fight. And look at that. Simon being so confident with his aim. That's a height advantage the enemy team has got. But still, he's just picked up with that aim. He's just all set with that aim. And he gets a knock on the enemy team too. Whereas Navestar Esports is now going to engage against rebros. And they have taken it pretty personal, because right now there's a third team bombarding onto them, and that split by rebros is going to help them a lot.
Well, Supreme in the meantime is going to be running away. rebros have lost out on a player. They don't even have kills to work with this time around, which is rather surprising, but I believe those teams reunite being eliminated. And talking about rebros, right? I'm sure if they want to revive their teammate, they will. But they're playing it pretty smart. They know that they've lost out on a man early on. They've lost out on a player, which leaves them at a disadvantage. Play the long game. Play the patience game. You already have enough kills. You already have enough points to work with. And all they need to do is be consistently in top 5. Be consistent throughout the matches. And that's exactly what the match do, which I really respect. But in the meantime, their fourth player, which had been eliminated, has been revived. So rebros once again back in the game, and now this is where they start going all guns blazing. This is where they start taking fights.
Well, yes, exactly. Right now, focusing on the next zone, also closing in Mamba, is just 25 seconds for all the teams to get their spots. Whereas rebros once had the perfect spot in the circle, now they get a revive for Rohit. Rohit comes back to the team. All the 4 players are standing strong, but the fights won't ever stop. rebros are up against team Navestar Esports, a glue wall on the perfect time. OMG, that was a grenade for Mamba to get knocked out straight forward with one. There goes Drago Giachi. He is the grenadier man. He is the guy with the grenades, always getting that damage. And with that damage, the footsteps are on point, and he will for sure get a knock by the grenade. An initial picking up for the team. Ali Dikshan gets a revival on Suman.
Well, Supreme in the meantime trying his best to break the glue wall. The question is he going to be able to stay alive, because he's trapped himself between a glue wall and a wall. And well, a metaphor for a rock and a hard place, but we'll try and get out of here. And the question is, Drago in the meantime holding it out. He does see Mamba, but it's kind of weird, no? When you're casting and you see your name on the screen, but of course that's not you who's playing. NES in the meantime will get eliminated over there. Navestar Esports, and their run continues being eliminated early on.
Well, Mamba, you're back right now on the desk. The game for you is over. Team HB, 5 kills as they move forward to the drop of Mehmet. Yes, they have got that height advantage, and ALE also coming in. Whereas we saw 5 teams, so kind of a good prediction by the half of the lobby that they are going to see a zone here, and they already started to move on. They already started to make those rotations, to make those strategies of how to look forward and how to move forward towards the drop of Mammoth. Whereas now they're left with 40 seconds is what they have. Team HV, high voltage, right now can have all the high amount of thunder that they can get from this height advantage, because they have the sight on all the other teams, whereas they have the perfect game settled up for them.
Oh, absolutely. But talking about Team High Voltage this time around as well, they're looking in a pristine position. The last time, the only thing that went against them was the zone, and that's why they lost out on the match. That was literally the only thing, because there was a massive risk they took. And I do appreciate the sort of brains that go behind making that sort of a decision. But in the meantime, Rohit is barely surviving. rebros, they have 5 kills. Literally 5 minutes ago, they had none, and they revived the player and go out there and get those kills. As a matter of fact, Rohit was revived, and he managed to get 2 kills for himself.
And once again, Mamba, we get to see a fight that happened previously on the map of Bermuda, whereas it was the last fight of the game, and now it's a fight for the spot of the 4th position. rebros Rohit gets knocked on Sudash. Drago Giaji coming in with that cover fire. That's the deadly duo you're seeing right now. 2 knocks back to back as Arjun provides the cover fire, provides the trade for the team, goes back in the glue wall, as now Rohit will go for that revival on Drago. Arjun wants to revive his team, but no, he won't get that chance. A quadra kill for Rohit, and it's done and dusted. Team Moonlight Esports out at the 4th spot.
Unfortunate, I'll tell you that. That's unfortunate for them. But high voltage, again, stark over here because if we talk about ALE, they have the upper ground advantage. And this is something I've mentioned about Kalahari quite a while now. Is in Kalahari, sure, you might be able to use the upper ground advantage early on in the game because you have a lot of hills, a lot of mountains. And you could exploit it, sure, but when the zone starts shrinking, at least in the last two zones, it's not an advantage. It's, as a matter of fact, it's a disadvantage. And the reason being, if you're on high ground, you need to jump down, and when you're jumping down, you can't take a fight. You're practically a duck flying through the air, and they can take you down.
Well, as I always say, zone is the fifth player for any of the team. If you play with the zone perfectly, you make the zone a part of your team. You always get a spot inside the zone. Yes, the game is yours. Yes, the Battle Royale game is yours. Yes, Free Fire is yours as Lure gets a kill confirmation. Team V-Bros is all set with 10 kills in their half. And as soon Grego Giaggi got confirmed, there was a revival already set for him. Now the loot is there, the dead bodies are there, pick up the loot, and once again, go dive in. Supreme, the man, the MVP. Right now he's having only 2 kills as Rohit has picked up the charge on the map of Kalahari. Gets a kill confirmation. The last 3 players surviving from Team High Voltage. Height advantage. Well, wait, what is it?
I don't think this height advantage is going to last that long. And if you had to jump down, but Rohit in the meantime is going to try and push in. He knows exactly what the player is. He wants to go in for the kill. And he got that was so smart. That was actually an incredibly smart. He waited and waited and waited for the zone to do its job. Bring the player down and rebro. What in God's name are you doing? I think this is the 4th win in a row.
Yeah. 4th win in the row. V-Bros. As in the end, I already said height advantage. Well, you just name it for the sake because right now the players were jumping because of the zone. V-Bros got the zone advantage. V-Bros studied the zone perfectly, acted according to that, and that's how they're getting a booyah in the 4th game continuously, rigorously, and proving themselves why they are one of the best teams from Nepal.
I think at this point you don't call them one of the best. You call them practically the best team in Nepal. Sure, we've not seen Group C yet, but the sort of performance they've put up right now, I do believe even if there was another team, it would be very difficult to beat them because the sort of domination they've shown in 6 games, they've won 4 games, which is again a pretty crazy conversion ratio. I believe that's about 66%, if I'm not mistaken. No, that's not even 66%. Sorry, pardon my terrible math. It would be, how much is it? I don't even know. I need to do math, and I'm not feeling that focused on the numbers so far.
Well, right now, if you conclude all the 8 games and you're making, I'm just going on those hyper exclusions. Right now, if they have won 4 games, they have already won 50% of the day. If you include all the 8 games, but right now, going forward with the maths, I'm really bad at it. Sorry.
Regardless, we'll do that. In just a second, we'll do that. We'll crush the numbers, but I do believe it had to be 66%. But regardless, that doesn't matter. Moving on to the next one, right? Of course, we'll talk about the replay. We'll talk about what happened in the match. I've seen a trend, right? Early game, you see a lot of fights. Mid-game, again, get slowed down. You revive your teammates. You gather your team again. Go loot out if you need to. But then the end game, you see a lot of action. What I really like, though, is the confidence with which all these players are playing. They're not scared of taking these fights, especially early on in the game, where they know they can capitalize. Dropping down in the blue zone, dropping down in these high density loot areas as well, and just picking those sides. They know if they win that fight over there, they can roll off on that momentum, build up on it, because you'd have such great loot compared to the other teams out there that you can actually push them and take those fights.
Well, talking about an aggressive map like Kalahari, it's always the call for IGL to go for those aggressive fights in the start or to go barging in those end zones, because you need to decide one of them two. Either you go all in from the start of the game, or either you go all in the end of the game, where you have survived for the whole game in a deadly map like Kalahari. You have open areas, you have height advantages. There's one single point and your team is all dead. That's what we saw. That's how V-Bros got their first 4 kills. It was like just in a matter of seconds, it was all dead for the enemy team. Now, looking forward to the highlights here, Lone Wolves getting those kills in the start, getting the kill leader advantage in the start, but then it was again a history to be written, whereas 2 or 3 more new teams came towards the Mammoth, and in the end, it was a sixth team known as Team High Voltage acquiring the area and controlling the area of Mammoth.
I did the math. I ran the numbers. It is exactly 66%. So I was right. I was just not confident. That means I'm not stupid, which is a great thing, which is very comforting. But going back to the match,
not missing in V-Bros, right?
Oh, absolutely, no doubt. But V-Bros, here's the thing. The sort of domination they've shown, I do believe eventually they might just need a different tournament for themselves. Because they're clearly in a different league and no team is a match for them. High Voltage has tried. They've been looking promising. It's just that they've not been able to keep up with V-Bros, who've managed to get 4 booyahs in a row.
Indeed, because if you talk about Moonlight Esports, Team Anam Lama Esports, these are also the names that you need to talk about when you talk about V-Bros. Yes, they are the table toppers. Yes, they have been getting those amazing amount of kills and just like bashing all the other teams in this lobby. Right now, as you said, it's too easy for them and they require a new lobby. They require a whole tournament for themselves. Right now, it was Rohit, the man himself, who picked up the charge in this match. Got 7 kills for the team with a total damage of 1914, 3 headshots and 1 revival for the teammate.
But I have to see this one thing, right? Rohit has been pivotal in the team, no doubt about that. But the way he pushed the last person that was alive, he waited for the perfect moment. He knew exactly how much HP he would have had and he pushed in, which makes me wonder, how do you keep a track of something like that?
How do you keep a track of something like that? It's your team who always tracks down the enemy team for your side. If you're looking forward to another player, Rohit is one of those guys who is always dependent with his duo Drago GRG. Drago GRG gets a knock with the grenade, and then the team is looking out for them. The Igel gets a call, and Rohit just bashes in with his DMRs. If you talk about V-Bros in this game, they got the booyah. They have those 12 placement points. Now getting 14 kills. A 15 kill mark right now, not breaking with this game, but still they are having 26 points from this game. And look at that, Ali, Emily maintaining that consistency, but V-Bros has just broke down the table with 140 points from 6 games. Mamba, 2 games are still remaining. Are we looking forward to 200 points on day number 1?
Oh my lord, 200 points. So that's roughly 58 points in 2 games. It's not impossible, but highly unlikely.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to have 200 points. If that does happen, though, I would be at a loss of words. I'd be honest, sure, I get paid to talk for a living, but there's no word in the dictionary which would be appropriate for the performance that V-Bros would put up if they manage to cross 200 points in one day.
Correct, because 200 points is a mark that if they touch it, the other day where the other 2 groups will arrive, or even if V-Bros are playing for the next day, then it is going to be a mark that they need to get for them. Well, now is the time that we need to go for the break. Mamba, are you ready for it?
Oh, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, do not go anywhere because we will be right back after this short break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Free Fire Nepal Championship. My name is Ranjit Maubal, Senior Patil. Alongside me is still my wonderful friend Mridul. And of course, we've seen some incredible matches, but we bros have been dominating the opposition 4 booyahs in a row. Almost, well, actually, as a matter of fact, they've crossed 150 points. They have 152 points. And wait, no, they have 142 points. My bad.
Yeah, 42.
46?
42.
42 now. 142 points. Regardless, around 150 points. And I will be honest, I've not seen this happen before. I have absolutely not seen this happen before.
Indeed, because we bros right now have been performing so consistently throughout the games that we aren't even seeing a sight on how Ali and Emily have been performing. Look at the kill leaders right now. Supreme and Rohit just managing going to get 23 and 22 kills, whereas behind them is going to be Ali Dikshant with 21 kills on the board. On the 4th position, you have Superman with 20 and Drago Giagi getting 19 kills on the 5th spot. Talk about Vibros Supreme, Vibros Rohit. These are the 2 guys who have been consistently performing for their team.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. But Rohit Supreme and Drago, imagine 3 out of your 4 players in the server are amongst the top 5 kill leaders in the tournament.
Yeah.
And that's just great to see. Of course, would have been nicer if they had all the 4. But we've been through 6 games. We have Purgatory and Alpine left. The question is, what do we have in store for Alpine? Because today was the first time we saw this in the competitive circuit. Nepal is absolutely the first region to have 8 games a day. And to have Alpine is a great change. That we have pretty good, how do I say this, right? We have all the terrains. We've covered deserts. We've covered, green patches. We talk about a map like Purgatory, for example. You talk about Bermuda as well. I'll tell you a fun fact. Bermuda used to be pretty much like Kalahari when the game came out. But it's changed over time. Look at all these players dialed in, really focused. And ALE, I believe, one of their players is chilling. I see bright smiles as well on some of their faces, which is great, because sure, while these players are playing at the highest level, but it's also important to have fun.
Right, because indeed, like when you play the games, if you're not enjoying them, why are you competing in them? You just need to enjoy the games, have that fun. Whereas V-Bros right now is taking a break, whereas I see the player coming back to the camera screen and all the players are getting all set. Yes, be hydrated, stay hydrated, because it's really important. As casters, as players, you just need to stay hydrated and perform the best. You need to get that concentration all set as we are now getting into the map number 7. That is week number 1, day 1, game 7 of the day. A flight path starting from central, going towards the ski lodge.
Now this is again is a rather interesting flight path, because it's not going through the center of the map. It is a little towards the southeastern part of the map, which is great to see, because now all the teams which have early drops towards, for example, More Towers, towards Crossroads, anywhere in the northern area, it's going to be difficult for them. We might see a lot of fights happening at Brasilia. We might see people go to Ski Lodge as well. Usually, you'd see the blue zone in the Ski Lodge, the high-density loot area, but this time around, that's not the case. And I believe we have quite a few.
Indeed, you talk about all the teams right now coming in for the play. We see Team V-Bros, and now that's an initial fight for Team Shripach and KKR. Revival point will be opening within the 30 seconds, whereas we already have an initial fight coming in for Kukuri Esports. Kukuri Esports, yes, we expect a lot from them. This is a name, one of the big names of the Nepal region. They have been performing consistently throughout these years. And now that they have a new squad, some new names coming in for them, now we want a good representation from their side. True Raza getting a knock on SE Achieve, and that's a kill confirmation. Yes, Ski Lodge is near the area of Brasilia, and you need to accept a fight incoming in the early game. And yes, Mamba, the man himself, gets a knock on Chandra Surya, as Chandra Surya are back again with 3 games back-to-back and having an initial fight against Nepstar Esports.
Absolutely, I'm never going to not laugh when I see the name Mamba on the screen, because I'm just not used to it, because that happens with my name as well. But Hari, in the meantime, look at him. He has the MP5 to work with, absolutely shredding the opposition, trying to make sure he stays alive, and the Chrono Shield is popping out, but he's still alive, not taking any damage whatsoever. How in the world Is he still surviving? How in the world is not taking that? Sumit in the meantime is going to find a knock for himself. Unknown with the Mac 10. He's going to find some frags, and Sumit does not want to slow down whatsoever. He's going to keep pushing in, and we have neutral leaders over here.
Well, now it's like the story is revolving. The story is now having some more things to say and a different thing to say. Chandra Surya is winning the fight against Team Napestar Esports, and the last player is going to run for his life, whereas he also needs to revive his team. Shripach, right now they have a great height advantage, whereas they do know they have Kukuri Esports against them. They have a whole good island side for them, and yes, it's a fight now going to be engaged between themselves as Lollipop is all set, and that's a bargain on him. 3 players getting a knock. Raven gets the first knock for the team, and there's a trade coming in from Sahil. Holy gets a kill confirmation, and whoa, Tamam. In a matter of seconds, it's all looking like Team Shripach is going to get eliminated, but Tamang with his AK is getting all the damage that he can get, but no. Raven just proves down straightforward for the team. It was not what you wanted. Raven coming up with a triple kill, 4 kills, a whole squad wipe from his side. And yes, the other team has been eliminated. It's done and dusted for the enemy team.
It is done and dusted for the opposition, but look at the zone. This is very tricky because usually you see the zone come in on the main landmass, but this time around it's going to be really difficult to predict the zone. And if it ends up anywhere between Drusilla and Golf Course, then you have the sea. Well, technically a river, sure, but I still call it the sea, right? You still have the sea cutting the landmass into 3 different areas, and that doesn't leave a lot of land to fight on. So the question is, where is the zone going to be? Are we going to see some insane predictions, or are we going to see a lot of risk, which we saw, I believe that was game number 5 from High Voltage when we were playing at the Dam.
Indeed, because right now, if you look forward to Team High Voltage, yes, they have some good strategies working out for them. But looking towards the area that they're holding, True at any given point can get a good spot against them, and they can easily wipe out the whole team too. Napestar Esports right now is looking really damaging for them, as the name himself, Mamba, is surviving for the team. Team LW right now, they're situated near Marble Works, Lone Bulls. Yes, they are Lone Bulls. Expecting their name to be, they are in a good split from each and every one, and now they need to go inside the next zone. We already heard the siren. Yes, you need to move out for the next zone. The game has already given you the sign. 5 minutes have passed down. It's not working like the other 3 games that we have seen Mamba till now. The other 2 games, it was pretty much fast in the start, where we saw 9 teams or 8 teams surviving, and 33 players were there in the lobby. But then again, it's a series of revival coming up again against them, and only 1 team has been eliminated till now.
Yeah, only 1 team eliminated, but Aldim in the meantime is waiting it out. Ooh, look at that. The Tope is going to get taken down. He has been knocked on poison. Will not stop. He doesn't want to stop. He wants to confirm that kill. But the question is he overextending? He might just be overextending. But nonetheless, poison wants to go in. The Chrono Shields, how long are they going? Oh, look at that. Trying to run them over. But is it going to work out? I'm not quite sure. Poison does find the kill. Gets it confirmed. And 1 more headshot coming on Raza. Look at that.
Well, I talked about True rushing on towards High Voltage, but High Voltage, Mamba had some other plans. They indeed picked up one of the first initial knocks on Team True, as they spotted that they have an enemy, a trespasser on their territory. And yes, trespassers are never welcomed. They are always prosecuted. And that's how Adem is just making the last 2 players surviving from Team Reunited just run for their lives.
They are running for their lives, no doubt, but Adem in the meantime is trying his best to connect those shots. He's not able to, because it's really difficult hitting a moving target like that. That's the reason why you have all these aim trainers. But regardless, he's going to fall back. Robin barely surviving, barely clinging on to his life. And look at this. We do have Bridge Cam coming, which is wonderful. I do believe that's Moonlight Esports, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's Moonlight Esports. Well,
Moonlight
right
Esports
now,
on the bridge. They're in a great position, but we'll have to say that. I'm really sorry to cut you off, but they're in a great position and they can get a lot of kills over there.
Indeed, because right now Moonlight Esports, they have the height advantage, they have an eye on the enemy team. Yes, Drago GRG reviving all the players that were left out or eliminated. Yes, they have been brought back to the game, but now they need to engage in those time period that they have been provided just to get loot for the team. Whereas Team KKR, Kukuri Esports is already busy up against Team Load Bulls. MLE get a chance to either create a third party position or to either go for the next zone. But they have both in their favor. Just fight and enjoy the game. Enjoy the game, the competition always lands right in front of you. 30 seconds remaining for the next zone to close in as Team ALE Suman gets kill confirmation. ALE, mind you, is also in the top 3. So there's a fight between Team Moonlight Esports and Team ALE for that second spot, to hold that second spot, to hold the runner-up spot after the A1 has ended.
Well, Zephyr in the meantime is going to be waiting it out. He is running around fairly in the open, but he's still surviving somehow. I'm not quite sure what's happening over there, but SE, in the meantime, they are going to try and rotate, which again is not going to be easy. But Sarura Gaming Esports are in a good position. 4 kills. All the 4 players alive as well, so off to a good start, I'm going to tell you that. 11 teams and 36 players alive. Unknown in the meantime is going to find himself a kill.
Well, yes, exactly. The kills need to be found between this time period of 9 to 12 minutes, because it's exactly mid-phase where either you go forward with a strategy of attacking or either you just once again focus towards the end zone. Whereas now it's Napestar Esports, unknown, nothing to lose, nothing to survive out for. A less amount of loot remaining for the team. They need to wipe out one of those squads, but now they're getting eliminated one by one. A quadra kill for SC Thapa coming up, whereas ALE, Anamlama Esports already have 4 kills on their side. Now the next zone also closes in. Brasilia, Northern Grounds, a good head advantage, and they can easily see Team B4M, Team LW right now just like bashing onto each other, surviving, trying really hard to come inside the next zone.
Absolutely, and now look at the zone. I didn't mention that it was going to be a tricky zone to judge, but I think now it's going to be easy because it's all on the landmass, barely in the water, and the rotations need to start coming in. We do have Kukuri Esports which need to rotate, but they are going to wait it out and see if there is a bridge camp happening. But do they need to revive any teammates? That is a question. They do need to, and both the teammates have been revived, so they're going to start walking away, which is wonderful. And we'll see if they find any early information. This is actually great because they've managed to revive the teammates. They have to cross the bridge, and they have a lot of information being relayed by the teammates up top.
Well, yes, exactly, because right now to get that up top position, to get that height advantage where it's a landmass and you have a lot of houses as your covers. Important covers indeed, whereas there are not trees, there are not stones, you have full houses for your squads. B4M Cosmic right now trying all his best to get Lone Wolves out of the house and get that perfect position for the team, whereas it is the edge of the side and you get to get a sight on the river. With that, Drago GRG getting the triple kill, and Team LW is looking really in a bad situation. Team B4M still standing strong, and they have all the 4 players remaining for them. Beg for mercy. Right now, beg for mercy from Team HV. Poison won't allow them any mercy and gets a kill confirmation on Dada.
That he does with Cosmic. Waiting it out on the stairs. He's going to push in. Nope, he won't. But the grenade. Oh! No, in the picture perfect grenade on top of the stairs. He knew exactly where the player was. Gets the knock on. Abir in the meantime trying to go in and he does try to do all, but he will get taken down, and that is so unfortunate for Beck for the team. In the meantime, high voltage again, 7 kills. They have all the 4 players. Regardless, I do believe that was faster. The moment I mentioned it, they lost out on a player.
Indeed, because right now the third parties will barge in. MLE being the silent killer at this moment. Moonlight Esports, they stayed silent for a lot of time. And now, if you have stayed silent, if you have maintained the patience, you will get the treat for your side. Novi, by the way, with Yuri gets 2 knocks back to back on MLE. And the tables have turned, the sides have turned. Subhash barely surviving, not having that HP. Tries to get a knock, but no. Moonlight Esports, they will face it. They will face it bashingly from the side, and that's how we see one more elimination. Anam Lama Esports, Team SE and Team Reunited still survive with less kills, but still they have a great position for their team.
Well, they are in a good position, no doubt about that. But at the same time, what they need to do is make sure that they stay alive until the end of the game. They need to see it through, because sure, you can get all the kills in the world, but if you don't stay alive for long enough, that's a massive problem. Because at the end of the day, it is a battle royale, right? It's not a death match, and you do get a lot of points for being the winner and getting that booyah. So you need to make sure you get the kills, and there is a fine balance between you being aggressive and, of course, winning the match in the meantime.
Whoa!
A lot of kills being exchanged, but John is not a slowdown. Zion has been taken down, and talking about ALE Esports, Anam Lama Esports, it's incredible with the way they've been playing. Have 7 kills, all the 4 players live, and as of now, they'll be left with 2 teams and 19 players.
From the past 4 games, Mama, we have been discussing how the performance of Anam Lama Esports or Team MLE is getting sidelined because of how Team WB, Team Vibros have been performing. But yet again, they have been proving consistently throughout all the games that why they're still staying in the top 3, even if there are 12 teams. They're not only 5 teams that we need to talk about. But then again, why we are talking about them is how they're proving themselves. Look at Kukuri Esports getting bashed out by the grenades of Drago GRG as he gets a knock. Done and dusted. Within 15 seconds, you see a squad wipe from Vibros, but there comes a third party from Team Anam Lama Esports. 11 kills. Once again, double digits popping up for this team. Can we look forward to 5 booyahs consistently and back-to-back rounds?
Well, the sort of consistency all these teams have had, right? You talk about Vibros as well, you talk about High Voltage, as a matter of fact. This time around, they're the kill leaders, trying their best to try and close this game out. But the question is Vibros going to allow this? Because they have been a force to be reckoned with. So many booyahs, a lot of points, of course, a lot of kills as well. But High Voltage this time around, they don't want to let it slide. You talk about Anam Lama Esports as well. They have 8 kills, all the 4 players up and kicking, alive and kicking. And Dikshan, in the meantime, does not want to let this slide. He's going to try and push and poison, taking up a lot of damage. He's absorbing a lot of damage. Look at Vibros. They're playing it so smart, just waiting out. They don't want to be a part of this fight.
Yeah. Indeed, because right now, if you look forward, most of the squads, Team HV, Team Anam Lama Esports, and even Vibros, they have some good man advantage. But look at Team Reunited. Durmose is right now in a bad situation, whereas he's not having the zone. And once again, Vibros, what luck you guys have got. Even if they're right now not the kill leaders, they've got the zone. And that's how they're now engaging against Team High Voltage. Eliminate the most important enemy first. Look forward to the others after that.
Well, look at Noe though. He doesn't want to slow down at all over there. In the meantime, you have 3 teams in a 3-way fight. Each of them trying to walk away with a booyah, but I do believe the team which is going to pay a massive price for this one is going to be High Voltage, because the zone is closing in and 2 teams are initiating them. For High Voltage to survive over there is going to be impossible. It's nearly impossible, but Noe once again having a pick onto Drago, but oh my lord, look at that. TRU is going to get eliminated over there. Anam Lama Esports trying to make sure they still stay alive. And all picking them off one by one. High Voltage losing on players, and I do believe they will get eliminated. Now only 2 teams remain, which is going to be Vibros and ALE. The question is, can Vibro walk away with one more booyah? Anam Lama Esports over here, they have 3 players live. Vibros, in the meantime, they only have 1.
Well, played the perfect strategy, just coming in as those silent killers. Anam Lama Esports, well, at once they held Team Vibros, and now Stalker is the last player surviving. They spot him. Oh, Sahil. Well, the other player didn't. He just heard those one single footstep and that one single perfect grenade inside that blue wall. That's a booyah for Anam Lama Esports. Yes, these guys wanted it. These guys waited till the 7th game, performed consistently, and now you have a booyah for them. Whereas we were looking forward to High Voltage or Team what we talk about Vibros. But then Anam Lama Esports just silently comes in. You have got 10 plus kills. Okay, we still have 9 kills with us. And we are going to come in, get all the 2 teams out and get a booyah straight forward.
Oh, absolutely. But the way Anam Lama Esports played as well, right, they were very smart. They had been engaging high voltage, sure. But the good part about that engagement was that they kept them at bay. They made sure that they're being pushed in towards the zone, towards the blue zone. And all we bros had to do was just wait it out, and they played it to perfection. But here's the problem. We bros, as much as they tried, this time around, ALE came out on top. Of course, they had the man advantage as well. 1v3 is not easy to win. Sure, we've seen it happen, but more often than not, it does not happen. And Anam Lama Esports finally breaking Webro's streak. Otherwise, it would have been 5 booyahs in a row, which would have been unbelievable. At least, too good to be true. I can tell you that.
Like, to get the opportunity and to just perform on that opportunity, that's what we need to learn from Anam Lama Esports. Whereas High Voltage and Vibros were busy fighting, and there was TRU, one of the players that was surviving from TRU, also trying to engage in that fight. But Anam Lama Esports stayed silent. They just waited for the kill feed to do its work. They just waited for the other teams to do their work. And then they came in, got those 2 to 3 kills, and it was a straightforward booyah for them. A good strategy indeed in the end to just stay silent and come forward into the zone. Whereas the zone advantage was with Vibros. But then they just came in and the zone advantage was like, okay, am I really existing right now? No, it doesn't.
Oh, absolutely. See, when you're playing at that high of a level and you're controlling the pace of the game so well, the zone doesn't really matter because you know exactly where you need to be and you're making sure that the opposition is being pushed away or at least kept at bay, right? Because you're not allowing them to come in. And as long as you're in a decent spot, I don't think at least in the last zone it matters as much as long as you're the one which is you're the team which is driving the game. So all in all, just great to see the sort of domination which has come in from all these teams and good to see some competition. But here's the thing, one team that we've not spoken about as much as we have spoken about. So Webros we've been talking about, of course, they deserve all the praise in the world, no doubt about that. But you have to say this, you have to admit, High Voltage and the consistency has been impeccable.
Indeed, because right now, till now, we have been seeing Moonlight Esports, Team ALE and Team Vibros in the top 3. But High Voltage, once again showing why they are standing strong, getting those kills. And in this map of Purgatory, they just had all in. Getting those kills, at a time there were 3 players already eliminated, 1 single player getting the clutch for the team and getting all the players revived. That is the amount of teamwork that this team has built upon. Look at that. I discussed that Team True might rush in towards Team High Voltage, but they had some other plans and they got the whole squad wiped down within the time period and the trespassers were prosecuted. Team ALE also getting the kills in the initial phase of the game, whereas Team MLE, this was not what we expected. MLE performed brilliantly throughout those 3 games, but what happened in Purgatory was the history to be made. They got wiped out at the 8th position, and then Team Anam Lama Esports was also unstoppable.
Oh, they were unstoppable as well, no doubt, but look, you have to admit, all these 3 teams, right? You talk about Webros, High Voltage, and Anam Lama Esports, all these 3 teams played really well, and they deserve to be in the top 3. But was the thing that was better than these 3 teams being in the top 3, right, was the fact that they put on a good show for the viewers as well, for themselves. It wasn't a one-way fight. It didn't seem like this one team is going to walk away with a booyah. Sure, towards the end you realize High Voltage might not survive because of the fact that their position wasn't the best. But let's talk about the MVP over here from Anam Lama Esports. You have Dikshant with 4 kills, 1 assist, almost 2,400 damage, 5 headshots. 0 revivals, sure, no doubt. But 5 headshots is great.
Well, Mamba right now to talk about the top 5 players that are there on the MVP. Dikshant just proving, even if the team didn't get the booyah till the game number 7, they still had Dikshant with them. One of the amazing guys now getting 4 kills in this game, getting the booyah for his team. 12 placement points, 12 kill points and 24 points from this game. Once again, Team High Voltage and Team Vibros being consistent. If you're able to get 20 plus points from each and every game, you're going to maintain that top 5 easily for your team. But if you talk about Kukuri Esports, Team SE, TRU, some new games coming up into the top 6, whereas we see Team MLE going downside. CHS engaging in those initial fights, It's not working out for them. Chandra Surya, they really need to turn forward. They really need to look forward with some new strategies. Right now, V-Bros are still leading with a 52-point lead, if I'm not wrong. 165 points on the board, and kills have made the difference. Booyah have made the difference. Ali, the Booyah winner for the 7th game. 1 Booyah, 63 kills, and they're having 113 points on the board. HB, if you talk about, yes, with this game, performing in this game, they have bashed back Team MLE towards the 4th position, and now climbing the chart, climbing the position, they are there on the 3rd spot with 105 points.
Oh, absolutely. But we were talking about if V-Bros can get to 200 points, isn't going to happen because look, sure, as nice as it might be, a slip of tongue that happens to the best of us, but
yeah,
it's just too much to ask for. Let's be honest. Even 150 points is great. It's not great. It's phenomenal. Let's be honest.
Right.
But 200 points is just too much.
Indeed, because right now, Mamba, what we're looking forward for is not V-Bros. It's not the tournament for V-Bros. It's the tournament for all these 18 teams who have been performing consistently in the Nepal region, who have showed, even the teams who are the underdogs. Right now, we haven't been talking about underdogs. Underdogs have proved themselves from the open qualifiers. It was all open for the Nepal region to come in this Free Fire Nepal Championship and prove their part, prove their side. And now, a piece on the cake, a cherry on the cake, as we all talk about, Alpine map getting introduced in the competitive reign in the Nepal region, who is also a new region for the Free Fire all over the Free Fire global world. But if you talk about right now, we are going straight forward into the last game of the day, week 1, day 1, game number 8, and the flight path is straightforward, cutting the map into 2 halves.
Well, the flight path is fairly straightforward, no doubt about that. But in the meantime, this is going to be a pretty interesting map to watch because we've not seen a lot of action, at least not a lot of professional action on this. And I'm really excited to see where the teams go, what areas turn out to be a hot drop. Snowfall, once again, is going to be really interesting because having snow and ice on a Free Fire map is something which has been missing for quite some time, at least in the professional circuit. And it's just great to see this new element being added.
Indeed, if you talk about all the teams right now moving forward to their usual drops, well, you also need to study all the usual drops. This is a tournament provided all the teams of the Nepalese teams to all the players who have been judging each and every team. Look at this Alpine map right now in front of our screens, whereas we see Team HV on towards their usual drops of Snowfall. Quite a study that I think I have got in my mind. Ocean View is there for Team LW. On Fusion, it's going to be a fusion of 3 to 4 teams, whereas V-Bros will pick up a fight. But before that, stop, because LW, leaving Ocean View, has straightforward went for a fight against Team High Voltage, who have got the 3rd position right now after the game number 7 ended. It's Team TRU going up against Team ALE, and a good fight between them. Once again, a fight that we saw on the game number 4, once again coming up in the game number 8.
Oh well. But for now, we're going to see if we have more early fights coming in. Reza is taking up a lot of damage in the meantime. Holy trying to fall back, but can he stay alive? Yes, he will, but Luffy, in the meantime, will get taken down. I'm not quite sure where that fight happened, but regardless, he's going to lose all on his life. The question is, will he be revived? Or has he been eliminated? I'm not sure. I didn't see the color.
The color? Well, indeed. Right now, what we look forward to is River Mouth. Team TRU going forward. Team Reunite have reunited, but oh, Thapa with some other angle. He was just looking forward to healing himself, and there comes Thapa. One straight shot on your head, a pat on your back, and okay, my boy, you're getting knocked down. You are on your knees. With that, Team SE is barging in, and that's a 3rd party you're going to see. 3-Punch, Sanura Gaming Esports, and Team Reunite. 3v game, a 3-way frontal battle right now on the side of Rivermouth, right now on the city of Rivermouth, where a bridge camp is not required. What you require is the perfect strategy to stay on the terrace and to stay on the height advantage.
Well, SE, let's talk about them for a second, right? Because look, they've been playing really well. The only problem that they've had so far is they've not been able to find a lot of consistency. And this is what I believe. They have a lot of untapped potential. They just need to try harder, of course, practice a lot more. They need some experience, which, of course, they're going to get from this tournament. So even if you don't do well in the tournament, then just use it as a learning experience. Use it as a stepping stone for greater things. Because this is not the last time this tournament is happening. Of course, the region has a lot more things coming up. So I'm just positive that SE have a lot of untapped potential and they can obviously go out there and win more tournaments.
Indeed. Right now, still looking forward to those initial fights coming up in front of our screens, Mamba. Whereas most of the teams right now are looking to get those kills and engage in the whole squad fights. It's already done. The day is completed. You are looking forward to the last game, whereas it might go slow-paced or it might go out so fast that you were not expecting it. A whole squad getting wiped. Oh wait, 2 squads getting wiped out back to back, and it's looking like we are going slow, but it's still not going slow. So Alpine is kind of a confusing map, but still, right now looking forward to Anam Lama Esports. One player is right now eliminated, but he might get a revival. He might come back into this game. Whereas there's a warning already popped up. The siren has rung. You need to go forward for the next zone. Forest Red is going to be there in the center, but you know, Mamba. Whereas even if Militia is there in the zone is going to go straight forward towards Militia. And with that last kill, Sanura Gaming Esports is going to get a wipe on Shripach.
Oh, absolutely, but Zepu is surviving along with his teammate Achieve over here, who's taking a lot of damage as well. Achieve barely clinging on to his life. And he's alive long enough, that is going to be the question. He will get taken down, and look at this. Robin is going to find a frag for himself. And talk about Kukri Esports. They are the kill leaders this time around, which is great to see, but this is such a beautiful map as well, right? So many colors on the map. The mountain, the snowy element is pretty good as well. So all in all, a nice fresh breath of air in the circle, which has been around for so long. And I do like this change, I'll be honest, Mridul. I really do like this change.
Indeed, Mamba, where you look forward to Kukuri Esports, a change of strategies, a change of gameplay in the last game of the day. They really want to make a brick inside the building that they're going to have somewhat on the day number 2 or day number 3. Even if you lay one brick for the next day coming up for your team, coming up for your side, you can still make that building for your team a short one, but either a good one. Team Anam Lama Esports still proving how they perform throughout the game, how they get those kills, gets a kill confirmation on another player, another team, and Kukuri Esports, only one player is going to survive. There's an elimination for one more team, and the map is showing its colors. KKR, Kukuri Esports Gangzo, gets a revival on Hansi.
Well, for now, we're going to wait it out and see what exactly goes down over here. But Mom, in the meantime, trying his best to dish out some damage, but of course not. He didn't have a lot of information to work with in the first place, so he's just going to wait it out. Does give out suppressing fire to make sure that the enemies get pushed away. But nades being exchanged over here. The question is it going to dish out enough damage to get a knock? Nope, that's not going to happen. The chrono shield has been deployed, but how long will it last? Is the question.
Indeed. A question forming up for Chandra Surya also, because right now we are seeing Kukuri Esports and Chandra Surya engaging in initial fights and actually winning them. Navestar Esports is their closest enemy in each and every match, and Chandra Surya, even if they haven't got points today on the board, they have just one single goal for them: eliminate Navestar Esports as soon as possible.
Well, Supreme, in the meantime, is going to be rotating along with his teammates. We bros have been such a formidable force to play against, right? It's not easy when there is a team which is dominating as much as they are. And all in all, it's just great to see that there is somebody that the rest of the teams can look up to try and close in on the gap. I've seen this happen in all the regions, especially when they're so young, right? As regions all together. We had Team Elite in India, which was by far, by leaps and by leaps and bounds is literally the best team in the country for the longest time. And then, of course, everybody else caught up. But Nepal obviously has their role models in Ebros and the way they've been playing. The question is, how long is it going to take for the rest of the teams to catch up to the pace that they're moving at? In the meantime, we will talk about the teams on the map. Talk about Chandra Surya. Again, I do feel like most of the teams over here, right, they have a lot of untapped potential. You talk about Chandra Surya Esports, for example. You've seen them get those kills. You've seen them win those fights where they had no business winning. But the only problem is consistency, and that's a deal with every single team out there. The only two teams that have been that consistent is Webros and High Voltage.
Right. And if you talk about Team ALE, because of the previous game, they are standing strong on the second position, whereas it was quite bouncy for them between the second and fourth. But one single game has made it possible for them to make a lead and stay at the second spot. It is Mamba how you perform throughout the day and just show your power in 1 or 2 games. 1 or 2 games are all done. Oh, that headshot! Barely his head was visible, and that is what Stalker already required. You just get that head on point. You just get that head on my scope. And there is going to be a knock on the enemy team. With that, Anam Lama Esports going against Webros. That's a fight we really want to witness. But at this time, it's like the history is reporting. Once it was Team Moonlight Esports and now it's Team Anam Lama Esports. What is the problem with Team LE in the end? Like, it's Anam Lama Esports or either it's Moonlight Esports. Team Webros won't stop bashing each and every one of them. But right now, the zone is also coming in, and Anam Lama Esports is all focused to get that one single kill, that one single player surviving from Kukuri Esports. Yes, they see them. Dikshan is waiting for the perfect move, is waiting for the perfect time for that Chrono Shield to get over. And with that, he dives in, he comes in, and he gets a knock on the player of Kukuri Esports. Rabin gets knocked down and gets picked up by the side of Team Anam Lama Esports.
That they do, but the Webros are struggling over here because Anam Lama Esports the last time as well. They came out on top of the fight and they might just be their kryptonite. And, well, the logo is green as well. But Anam Lama Esports absolutely being Webros' kryptonite and eliminating them over there. But in the meantime, High Voltage is in the server, alive and kicking. CHS in the meantime will get eliminated as well. But Anam Lama Esports with 11 kills. That's great for them.
11 kills, still they're wanting to get more. The hunger never stops, as Mamba we always say, the hunger never stops. Get those kills. The kills will make the difference for you on the points board. Because we have been seeing how Webros have been performing, but to stay in that second, third, fourth or fifth position, you need to get those kills. You need to do something different what the whole lobby has been doing. Yes, you rotate. Yes, you get some good spots. Yes, you predict the zone. But if you don't get the kills from the start till the end, you haven't performed in the Battle Royale, because Battle Royale, the only motive is to kill and to survive. Doing both is what will get you the reward. Doing both is what will get the win and the booyah in the game of Free Fire. A warning comes up for all the players to rotate for the next zone, as now Kukuri Esports, yes, they will get a revival. One player was also standing strong, but Rabin won't be coming back, as now High Voltage 9 kills in the game of Alpine. From the previous 3 games, yes, Mama, for sure, they have been performing consistently, and now they really want the second spot. They really want to steal it from Anam Lama Esports. A question that I have in my mind, will they get a booyah in this match?
They could. I mean, they've been rolling off on the momentum. They have the confidence, and they are absolutely feeling it. They've been coming in hot. So there is a high possibility that they could, but High Voltage is struggling over here. They have taken up a lot of damage, but they will strike back. They will not sit silently and take up all the damage. So trying to fight back. They have 10 kills. 2 of the players have been eliminated. No way taking up damage. But Udare, in the meantime, is going to walk away with 6 kills for himself, and Poison has been revived. So that's just great to see for High Voltage, but in the meantime, look at Poison. Quad kill for him.
A quad kill, Poison is still not going to stop. Look at Team High Voltage. Lure considerably always just pushing in with his shotgun, always just pushing in with the damage that he gets over the team. And then you have the grenade launcher also within the hands of this guy. What more you want from this person? But that's Anam Lama Esports for you. Napstar Esports is still surviving, and mind you, Chandra Surya Esports, oh, they have been eliminated. I thought Chandra Surya Esports got successful in eliminating Team Napstar Esports, but the prodigy, the man himself, Mamba, is surviving. Well, then the team will always survive.
The team will always survive, no doubt about that. But in the meantime, look at this though. Poison will get taken down. Oh, sorry, will find a kill for himself. My bad. Someone in the meantime will get taken down, and Anam Lama Esports are still surviving. They were the kill leaders until high voltage actually snapped back and said, "You know what? We will take the title away from you." And 4 teams, 14 players. We have Anam Lama Esports surviving along with 3 more teams. We do have Nepsa Esports this time around, which has managed to breach the top 5.
Breach the top 5, just ruin the top 5, and right now, the way they have been performing is just marvelous. Look at Team Anam Lama Esports, straightforward, crossing the river, just like hunters. They just want to hunt, go in, hunt, go in, and now it's the level of confidence that they have got. 3 kills back to back. 5 seconds is what they required. A whole squad eliminated, and now back to the game, back to the power. Now they get a knock with that sniper, barge again towards Kukuri.
Oh, absolutely. But talking about Suman, he's going to try and help his team. But in the meantime, look at Sahil finding kills with the grenade over there. Anam Lama Esports has turned out to be one more force to be reckoned with. Rebro, sure, had been dominating, but the question is, will they be able to continue their run through all the tournament? Because it's not just 1 week; there'll be 2 weeks they will be playing in, and of course they need to qualify for the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, indeed. And Poison. No, so Plains, fair.
Plains and Grand Finals, fair. To be honest.
Fair. But regardless, we will talk about Lure over here, who's trying his best to get the kill over there, but he won't be able to. It's not easy. It is not easy.
Well, it was just a revival by the side of Team High Voltage. Anam Lama Esports, a good try indeed. Lure, a good try indeed, but the players who are getting revived, they're just coming from the top to just bash your team, to get your team out of the game. Oh, he wants to become a Death Rider, wants to become a bait, as Novi with a fired by just dives into the area, the territory of Anam Lama Esports. It's a 4v2 where Novi wanted to get the center of the circle, wanted to get a good spot, and indeed Lure gets a kill confirmation. Lure once again with the perfect damage, with the perfect grenade kills, and the perfect M14 tags. The last player that is going to survive is going to be Suman behind the glue wall, getting the damage of the blue TL zone. Oh, Lure gets a knock on Suman. Sahil is going to be the man himself. A grenade kill in the close range. Gets a knock on Azim. 3 players bashing onto him as Sahil will surrender himself to the zone. Surrendered. A kill indeed for Team HV. High Voltage in the last game of the day gets a Boya in their name.
Oh, absolutely. Something they had been deserving for quite some time, but just they were not able to close it out. And this time around, walking away with the Booyah, they will be very happy. And of course, I do believe it was Lure who was the MVP for the matchup, which we will have a look at. We'll have a look at the numbers as well. But High Voltage finally showing us what they're capable of.
High Voltage showing how much they can perform within a game, performing brilliantly. And then again, they had that momentum from Purgatory Mamba where they got a lot of kills. They got a momentum against the best of the best team today that we saw, Vibros. And then they had all the strategies made up. It's the only thing that changed for High Voltage was Anam Lama Esports. They wanted that revenge, and the map of Alpine coming up as a good boon for them. It worked out for them, and it worked out as a pro for Team High Voltage. And with that, in the last game of the day, they have a Boya for their team.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt. But we'll crunch the numbers, we'll have a look at the replays. But before we talk about all of that, Mridula, I want to come to you and I want to ask you, how was your experience? Because, look, the first region have 8 maps and matches in total. a day, not 8
Yeah.
maps. Let's be honest. 4 maps in total, and 8 matches, 8 rounds in a day. Of course, a wonderful change, a welcome change, and Alpine being introduced. How was it for you to cast all of these matches?
It was indeed a wonderful experience, Mamba, to be there on the desk with you and witness the Nepal region, a new young region coming on towards our screens, coming in front of us, where a consistent performance is what you require from each and every team. And to do that hard work, to get your team ready and come each and every day to perform is what you require. The competitive spirit, that what you require for your region. Nepal region once again has a lot for us. We are going to see a new group tomorrow and quite excited for that too, how they are going to come in and make some good points. Do we have a competitor for Vibros? Till now they have got 4 Booyahs, and I think I made a prediction back there in the 6th game. They got 50% of Booyahs till now.
Oh, absolutely. Now the math is easy. But
Now the math is easy too.
Now the math is easy. 50%, 4x8, yeah, we can all do it. 1x2, that is what it becomes. But if it was 4x6, 2x3, which is 66%, I'm good at maths. It's just that I'm not confident. It's been a while, guys. I'm rusty. Come on, man. But no, getting back to the matches, right? It was wonderful to see all these teams come out, show the amount of promise that they have, show the potential that they truly possess. And some of them actually living up to it. But let's talk about the replays over here, Mridul. What were the moments that stood out for you the most?
Like, the whole match was like a 4v4 fight. Players were getting caught up in the open, but then again, how the teamwork stood out for each and every team. Even if, look at this, Kukuri Esports at this moment, we thought it was the last player surviving, just so far away from his team, just so like bashed out from his team, but then he won't get a revive. He was already recalled once. One player was surviving and he recalled 2. And that's how we got Kukuri Esports in the top 5. So the teamwork makes the dream work, and it was faithfully which came in front of our screens. Talk about Anam Lama Esports. They had amazing amount of kills, n number of kills, and 2 teams who stood out from this game were Team HB and Anam Lama Esports. If you want to get another name, Vibros or something, no man, I'm just going all in for HB and Anam Lama Esports. Both having 15 plus kills. I think so the whole lobby was also vibed out for them. And look at Lure, the highest amount of kills for today. 10 kills by a single guy, getting 2,438 damage, 9 headshots. Perfect with the head. If you get spotted by just a head, Lure is just going to hunt for it. 1 revival members, and with that, he becomes an MVP. High voltage on the top of the table after the game standings for game 8 have ended, and 31 points are on the board for Team High Voltage.
Oh my lord, look at this. Look at the numbers. But this time around, if you look at Vibros, they only had 5 points, out of which 2 were kill points and 3 were the placement points. So even though they might not have had a lot of points this time around, they have a massive lead, let's be honest. It's practically impossible to cover it up if they keep up with their consistent performances and be in the top 5. And of course, High Voltage. Anam Lama Esports, last time as well, they were in the top 3. This time around as well, they are in the top 3. High Voltage walking away with the Booyah. 19 kills.
Whoa.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, Mamba, unbelievable things, unstoppable things, and unrequired things also happened today. Vibros took a chance, took a new strategy on the map of Alpine. Yes, they lost 2 games back-to-back, whereas they had 4 games back-to-back as their Booyahs. Somehow, they still had to maintain that consistency to be in the top 5. 170 points on the board. At the end of the day, what matters is that you have got the #1 spot. But tomorrow, what you're looking forward to, a new group barging in, whereas one group from these 12 teams will still remain. 6 teams will be the same, but a new group wanting to prove themselves, wanting to come out and wanting to prove how well they have performed is what we're looking out for. And at the end of the day, it's Anam Lama Esports Dikshan with 29 kills. And one of the main reasons that he's up on that order is because of the damage that he has got. Anam Lama Esports, you talk about Vibros, yes, they do get kills, but Anam Lama Esports Mamba, from the start of the game till the end of the game, always stays there in the kill feed, and the man himself, Dikshan, always gets the frag for the team.
I mean, do we really have to say anything over here? Because look at the numbers, right?
Yeah.
The numbers speak for themselves, and all these players are so
Right.
close as well with regards to the numbers. It's not been one man show. Dikshant at the end coming on top, Poison from high voltage as well. Some of we bros, sure they were very dominant, but
Right.
again, last match, I'm not sure if I'm being too nitpicky over here, but either they got complacent or they got tired with the way they had been playing, and it didn't work out against them. But then again, still having 3 players out of the 4 in the top 5 kill leaders in the tournament is an impressive feat, to say the least.
Indeed, right now, looking forward to the highlights of the day. Most number of points are with Vibros, then it's Anam Lama Esports with 139 and 136 points for Team High Voltage. Not much of a difference now maintained by Team Vibros after day 1 has ended, but then look at the most kills. Just missing that 100 kill mark by 2 kills in this game. Supreme was the guy for the team who got 28 kills, and if he would have got 29 kills throughout the day, then it would have been a neck-to-neck competition between three of these guys. But Dikshant was the MVP for you guys, was the MVP of the day number 1, and that's how Anam Lama Esports is securing their spot on the 2nd position.
Oh, no doubt about that. But apart from the top 5 teams, right? Which are the other teams or players, anybody that stood out for you think is not living up to their true potential?
Well, indeed, Sanura Gaming Esports is one of the squads I really need to look out for, because they performed really brilliantly throughout 3 or 4 games that we casted or we saw in the game number 5 to game number 8. But yes, it is the time to end the day. It is the time for ending of the day, Mamba. Not what we really want, but indeed, to come back tomorrow, we have to leave today. So guys, that's the end of the day number 1 Free Fire Nepal Championship. Thank you so much guys for joining in. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Peace off.